What up, YouTube? What up, YouTube? This your boy No Filter right here. Hitting you guys again with another episode today of Creators Block. I did this stream, or I did it earlier, but it was kind of terrible, so I kind of redid it and kind of rescheduled it. And I wanted Filter right here. Hitting you guys again with another episode today of Creators Block. Fucking God, I hate this. It's the bullshit. Anyway, so this is today's episode 2 of Creators Block, episode 2 writing. The first episode was about creating and stuff like that. Johnny Midnight, Luiz, Armchair. I sent you an invite, bro. Just accept the invite. Let me know in the chat if you, let me know if the invite didn't work. And I put, matter of fact, let me just put the link to the stream. Let me put a link to the hangout, and you can join in that way. It makes it easier for you guys that want to join in. All right, today's episode is basically the second episode. Today's the second episode of Creators Block, a series I did, I think last week, 2 weeks ago. I forgot when I stopped doing when I did it. And I had Johnny Midnight. I had Johnny Midnight. I don't know if you're working today, bro. I'll send you an invite. Let me know when you get into it. Got the invite or not? Did you get the invite? The link to the thing, to link to the stream, so you can join the discussion. Today's episode is basically about writing, and basically this episode was supposed to be like the first episode technically was supposed to be about creating, writing, and drawing. But I decided to break it down in 3 parts. The first episode was creating. I think that's the most creating part, creating characters. When you create the character, you have ideas, you got the backstory, you got the character professional persona, being in there, meaning whatever that occupation is, or how they have to gather their resources to help them fight crime. That's cool. But this is a very important structure to Creators Block. And that's why I named the series Creators Block. Because when you're writing, what you end up doing, what you literally have to do when it comes to writing is I'm writing an issue while having this conversation as well. So I'm trying to do this stuff. It's always write your ideas down. And I talk about with writing why it's so important. You know, I talk about I have written over 140 issues so far, and I tell you flat out, I will literally tell you this: 120 issues, 40, whatever, and I literally tell you this. The one thing I had to learn about writing in the beginning when I first started doing it, even though I self-taught myself or watched the video of learning how to write and stuff like that, it was a very intriguing conversation. And just basically just like one thing I literally learned about writing this whole entire time, you know, is being able to tell a story. The stories we put ourselves in, the stories that we put ourselves in. It's it's like I gotta say this, and I think when you talk about writing, when you talk about literally writing a character, you got to understand that this is interesting because shit. I'm typing some guys while I'm doing this thing, so I'm noticing this is unprofessional as fuck, but I'm writing something too, so I'm trying to gather it. When you're writing, the one thing you literally have to do when you're writing, when you literally start to write, when you're writing, just write your thoughts down. Write the topics you want to address. I mean, if you care to deal with drug addiction, it can deal with alcohol, it can deal with crime, commercials. Luiz, what's happening, Luiz?
What's up?
Yeah, what up, man? This is I'm waiting on Johnny. For I'm just like, this is the prologue, guys, to the episode, and then we get into the main conversation of the show. Basically what this episode is really is about writing, and if I had to give some of my ideas on how to become a good writer, it's I always say write your ideas down, write the topics you want to talk about, write the things, write. I can think better now because I'm trying to better than two things at once. Um, one thing I learned about writing, and this is the beginning when I first started doing it versus to me now when I'm more advanced in my writing. I gotta say, start off small. Start, for me, do like one-off issues at first, because when you start writing and you're writing your comic books, and when you're doing, whether it's a novel, whether it's whatever, especially when it comes to writing comic books, do one-offs at first. Do one-offs at first. Do it like one thing, and make the next issue a whole different story, while still adding on, still addressing the events from the previous issue you just addressed. And I think a lot of the times I think about this when we write, when we literally go out our way to when we write comic books. When we write comic books nowadays is one of those things where we want to write comic books. And when you're writing comic books, one thing I sincerely learned, and this is me flat out being honest with you guys. One thing I learned about writing comic books is or writing comic books, just writing in general, writing literature, anything, is that when you're writing is not easy, because you're gonna make mistakes, especially if you're not an advanced writer, you never read issue before. And I think sometimes write your ideas down. You gotta have a subject matter. You gotta know what you want. I think a lot of the times we get to a point where when you start writing, when you're writing, you get writer's block, and it tends to happen a lot of times. I get it from time to time, and I take 1 or 2 days off from writing, because it's very frustrating a lot of times, because you want to write a good story. But to me, because I've been writing for so long, I can take a week off of writing, which is I suggest you guys don't do that, especially in the beginning of your career. Try to write every day if you can. I'll try to write 2 issues a day, or 1 to 2 issues a day out of every week, because I feel like that's so important to me and my character. So when I get hired, I start working for Marvel, DC, eventually on my company one day, have my own stuff, have my own comic book company, or my own characters I create. You kind of go into it and you know what you want, and you kind of not just kind of going what you want. You go into you know there we go. Oh yeah. So Louise.
What's up?
Yeah. Right, Louise, like, are you writing, like, what are you still in the creating process, or do you write, or are you the type of person where, like, do you create, or do you prefer to create or write? Because this is the whole point of the series.
I prefer to create.
Prefer to create. So, like, what, so you find more of the creating process more better than funner than the writing. Why is that? Because I would love to hear this actually. Go ahead.
I don't know, because I'm more of a visual person, right? Because it looks like stuff sounds good on paper, right? But once you kind of like once you write when you write it down, but once you actually have the image, then you're like, oh, then you could be like, oh no, I kind of changed my mind, right? So yeah, I like to see the image more than trying to like to than writing it down, because they're like completely 2 different things.
Yeah. So overall, so like when you have to create, so like, do you find, like, I'm just asking this question because I feel like this is a good take on the topic here. Do you think that when you create, do you think when you decide to create, do you think that when you choose to create, because I'm not gonna lie to you, either two with you, Louise. I am more of a visual person myself, but I like to create too, because I love the challenge and I want to challenge myself. So whenever start writing comic book professionally, because I still write whatever I get, whatever. But when I start writing comic books, because I like to challenge myself. To me, I love the challenge of basically writing stuff down, because I feel like it kind of makes it so for me. So it goes into with the issue already being written. So when I sit down with the artist, or when I sit down with the editor, and I said, you know what, this is what I want. I already with you get issue written. Okay, this is the panel. I want this to be addressed. I want that intellect. And then chop it off that point, go into the next chapter. But I think maybe it's me because I have a different creative style, and plus I self-taught myself how to write. Armchair.
Yo, what's up, man? What's up, man? I was just letting you talk.
So like, I mean, this. I'm glad you could join this episode. But like, so like, do you prefer creating or writing? Like, do you prefer creating or writing?
I prefer creating. The thing about writing, sometimes I'm still deciding to whether I want to make a novel or a comic because I'm not a talented artist, and I don't have and I don't know any person in the industry yet to help me out with actually drawing the character that would do that for free or for a low amount of money. So I'm thinking about just making a novel because I'm not that good of an artist to make my own graphic novel. Just you know, like some authors like Mark Miller or Frank Miller, they just make their own. Like Sin City was just totally drawn and written by Frank Miller. That's why it's Frank Miller's Sin City. So that's I'm not telling enough. I've never been a good enough drawer to do that myself.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about I like being the creator and the writer, but I like creating more. Yeah, I do like creating more because you're like, for example, I like making new planets and new worlds, but I like to put parallels with our world and the story. That's not as obvious as, like, it's not gonna be just like Star Wars. They look like just human beings or whatever. They look like totally like for the most part, they look somewhat maybe human or a little bit, but they're like aliens enough. They're far out enough to where they are unique, and they could be like I'll just give you slight material. So I'm careful. This is live, so I don't want to swell my idea. But they have a small difference, and that is they have a small. They're a group of all the same species of alien, but they fight over small differences. And then I'm still gonna put, they still just have sexuality just like us. It's for the most part similar to us on planet Earth, mammals on planet Earth. But I can make a character MGTOW if I wanted to make the protagonist kind of MGTOW. Just he learns to be MGTOW. But and I just saw the kind of off topic. I just saw the Tupac movie in theaters Friday, and it was kind of like you see, like, Tupac should have went. Man, if only he knew about MGTOW, and also if he just would not got murdered too. But like because he died so young anyway. But because I'm 26, I'm like, damn, man, he died at 25. I just turned 26, so it's like, damn, man.
Yeah. So overall, like, I mean, going back to that point, I think writing goes back to what I'm saying. Like, I'm glad you brought that up too, because watching All Eyes on Me, even though I didn't hate the movie, I know there are people who blasted that movie for what it was, saying it was.
I don't get it, man. Why does Straight Outta Compton get a pass and then they hate All Eyes on Me, which is just because it's Tupac? Yeah, it's a Tupac movie. It's not gonna be perfect. Yeah, the only make it better is make it HBO.
And going back to what you were saying before, I'm glad you brought that up. Like, I enjoy Straight Outta Compton, even though I feel like the second to third half kind of drug on. It was kind of like, okay, this happened, that happened, so you gotta make this happen.
It felt like Straight Outta Simpson, though, to me. Straight Outta Compton felt like Straight Outta Simpson to me. I mean, the character Easy and somewhat likable, but the way they exaggerated Dre to the point where he's like a badass punching people, that shit did not happen.
Yeah, and it goes back, and it literally goes back to what I'm saying before with this episode. Why this episode 2 can not just pertain to the comic books and novels, but writing movies. Like, writing is so. I mean, here's the thing. To me, I'm not gonna lie to you. I am a visual person. I'm not the best artist in the world. I tell you flat out, my drawing is fucking terrible. Okay, like I'm still drawing stick figures here, so I'm not the best person in the world. But when it comes to creating, when it comes to writing, the reason why I prefer both, I prefer to be, because like for me, I'm thinking about doing it right now. I'm thinking about going back to school to draw. Like, I want to learn how to draw. Like, that just, if I'm going to school, I want to major in something I enjoy back into it. But I'll probably do like night school, whatever, because I don't want to do that whole fucking university thing, rape culture shit, all that other crazy shit. I mean, it's not related to this podcast.
Go to school online, man. I mean, that's what I do. Go to school online, and you ain't gotta go out there unless you got to pay a bill or something. You know, you don't have to deal with it. School's a ripoff anyway, but like, you could just go to school online and not be up in that space like that. No one can accuse you of nothing if you're just sitting behind a computer. No way. So
like, I feel like for me, I really would like to I want to learn how to draw. And to me, because I'm a very independent person. So like, I like to do things independently. I don't like relying on other people to do something for me. That's why I create my own character. That's why when I create my characters, I sit down, I try to figure things out. For me, I'm always armchair. Like, when you out, right? When you out in public, do you have a backpack with you? Like, do you carry a book bag with you?
No, not usually. No.
You don't like? Do you have
No.
like a notepad? Like, do you have a notepad of like ideas, topics you want to address?
That is
Or
a good idea. I need to start doing that because sometimes I will get an idea and I might forget it, but most times I put it in my. I got a shitty phone at the moment, but I can put it in my notes in my phone notepad.
yeah, like hold on,
I write notes in my.
let me hold on, let me screen share. Let's not screen share. What is not screen share? Hold on, let me sell. Hold on a second. Let me show you. It's kind of like terrible. My handwriting is kind of terrible, but I'm gonna have like it's gonna block the camera, so it's gonna be kind of black. It's kind of block it. It's kind of hold on. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Where is the camera though? Do you see it? Like, do you see notepads on there?
I see the mirror. It's like showing an infinite mirror at the moment.
Hold on, let me
You're supposed to click on the little camera icon.
they can't. Hold on. It's blocking the camera. It's blocking my face, people. So you guys can't see it, but I'll see it.
Okay. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah. See it? See it?
Yeah. Oh, you don't mind showing your face, huh?
I mean, I'm just showing the notepad. I'm just showing like how I come up with stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just yeah. Not yeah. There we go. Wow, fuck. Well, there.
Yeah, man, you're showing your face, man. You might want to delete this after you do it.
I mean, whatever. It's for 2 seconds. Man.
Edit it out.
Yeah, it's two
I accidentally showed my face on a year ago, and Louis literally helped me find that where I compared to if a superhero his mask fell off.
I want to know that it was like, and that's what I'm saying. Like that for what you just saw. I mean, my handwriting is fucking terrible, but like there's a lot of like that.
It was real blurry though, man. But I just saw the notepad, but it's real blurry.
Yeah, and it was like it's like it's a lot of names of hero and villains I have not used yet. Names that's not been used, and I write them down. I have like a notepad, my book bag on me at all times, and just I'm always writing. Stu, what's happening, man?
Hey, man, I just want to tell you, man, I'm sorry I missed your call, but I saw you called me. I just got out of court right now, and I have to go back to work, but I just want to say, hey, what's going on? How's everybody doing?
I mean, because we did we did this, we're doing this episode right now, this episode podcast right now called Creator's Block. I know you went to comic book, you're a comic book creator and writer, and like just like I am, and Luiz and Armcharm, and I know Johnny Midnight, he's not into comic books, but he knows people in the industry.
He does like graphic design, doesn't he, and stuff?
I think so. Yeah, and he was telling people I created this series called Creators Block. I'm on episode 2 now. We did the first episode creating, and this episode we're doing right now is writing. Talk about writing comic books. Before you go, because I know you got to work. So, like, do you prefer creating or writing? Which one you do prefer?
I prefer creating over writing. But I think I'm a better writer than I am a creator sometimes is the problem with that. So I would probably accept writing. The reason I'm a better writer than creator is because I basically dude, you're no filter, man. You talk about how fucked up everything is all the time. Yeah. So I base most of my stories on real, absolutely fucked up situations that I see going on all around me. I mean, how can you not? There's tons of material, so that's how I write. I just use reality.
So when you so when you're out, like, cause I do this, I have like this I have the Star Wars, like this Batman notepad where it's like I write all my ideas down, thoughts, villain names. Like I created, like I'm always very creative driven. Like, do you have like a notepad to write all your ideas down, like when you out and you about to get a thought?
Yeah, I have. I'll grab anything I can because a lot of my inspiration comes to me while I'm at work, and because when I'm at work, I listen to I listen to MGTOW videos, and I surf the manosphere basically, and so I get a lot of ideas. And then you were you were talking about, or no, Johnny said you guys were talking about how the woman that fucks over nutjob should be called shit test.
Yeah.
That would be like a good, if she was like an agent or something, that would be like a good code name. Yeah, definitely, like code name shit test basically. And she's like some hot chick that like the local government uses to like fucking infiltrate and fucking fuck people up and shit like that, basically, like get people tangled up in the court system and take their kids and stuff. But yeah, see, that's a situation based on real life. And what I do is I listen to videos, and I'll take anything I can, scrap paper, and I just will scribble down. But I don't have like a set notebook or sketchbook anymore, because I'm being long-winded here. But the reason that I don't have I'm 45 now, and I thought the goal of my life was to do action art, was to do comic books, action art. And I'm 45 now, and it never came around. So, you know, I haven't taken it that seriously anymore. I mean, I pumped out an issue of a comic book, or I pumped out a trash can, which is like the kind of like the rough draft of a comic book, and you've seen it. It's called Nutjob. But I don't even know. I'm amazed that I pumped that out, because before I did that last issue, I haven't tried to put out a comic book in like 10, 15 years, man. I almost gave it up completely.
You know what? I tell you people all the time about writing too, because like I'm not gonna tell you, Stuart and Armchair guys, I love writing, bro. Like, to me, it's like, for me, it's nothing wrong. It's nothing like creating a character, but sitting there creating dialogue. Like, one thing I have thrived at, I literally, you know, like one of my biggest moments, I really learned about being a writer and being a creator and just being into comic book energy. Here's the thing: Stuart will tell you, Armchair tell you, Luiz, Johnny, anybody that tell you, dude, creating characters is not fucking easy, bro.
No, it's not. That's why I think I'm better writer than a creator.
You gotta be passionate about this type of shit. You gotta really be in depth to it. Like, I have like DC Comics. Well, I don't read Marvel comic books because Marvel and I comic books suck ass. But
Black Arrow, is that one of your characters, Black Arrow?
Yeah, and like for me, dude, like I talk about when I first became a creator, I was a terrible creator when I first came out. Like, I would just like create the character, and there was no good backstory there. It was like, okay, what drives this person to what he was? And like the older I got, the more experienced things I went through in my personal life experiences. I said, you know what? I can either you just sitting there and just like sit there, be mad at the world, and figuring out. I'm sitting there because my character was like terrible. Like, a lot of my characters, my first character I created, I'm not gonna say his name because it's just the idea. But like the idea when I first started creating, it was one of those things where it was like, man, fuck, man, this shit terrible. It's terrible as ass. And I worked at it. Now, it took me some years to kind of perfect my creative skills. But the more I start creating, the more I start, because I create like 10 to 15. I try to create 10 characters a day. Even if I
don't be hard on yourself, man.
Dude, wow, are you serious?
Because like,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Archer.
I'm just saying, like, real quick, like when you first, even when Batman first came out, it sucked ass. So don't be hard on yourself. I mean, it takes time to make a character good. I mean, it takes time, man. And you got, like, you are throwing a lot of shit to the board, like throwing a lot of darts at a dartboard. Your good videos are gonna hit the bullseye if you now you're so much in your late 20s. You can you have more experience to draw upon, and now you've got your kind of a man's right activist. You can put that shit in there and make and then the men's community might appreciate it. The Sims ain't gonna like it no matter what, but you can put in there.
There's one issue. I think it's the second issue of one of my first characters I ever created, and talks about I'm not gonna say the guy's name because it's kind of like it's like, you know, Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, he's kind of like that.
Yeah. No, there's an idea for a character right there, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a complex guy, and what ended up happening is kind of like my main character. This one, I wrote this character when I was blue pill, and I was like, well, he blue pill. I'm just gonna continue to write blue pill, even though I'm a red pill motherfucker. And he blue pill as fuck. He gets married. He's getting married. He's getting engaged. My main character, he's getting engaged. He's a billionaire. He got a lot of money going on, planning a wedding. He's a happy guy. And then like the villain, the main, well, not the villain, but the sad guy of the story. He after he worked I think he worked 10 to 15 years at this corporation of a job, and he keeps getting fired off every time he would get fired off. He's a married man, and what ended up happening was he gets laid off, and he goes home to work. It's a scene I wrote in a comic where he goes home to his wife, and he tells his wife, "I got laid off." And his wife tells me, "You a sorry excuse for a man." She gets up on divorcing him. And what ended up happening was, it is kind of talks about how society don't give a fuck about men. But even though I was blue pill, I kind of had a mid-time moment in there where he going to the court system, and the judge tells him his wife racked up a lot of credit card debt. He doesn't have a job. He has to pay his wife $2,000 in alimony, $1,500 in child support, and the judge tells you have to pay the mortgage off and the credit card debt. And what ended up happening was he decides to rob a bank. And basically his former job before he got left off, he worked for a construction company. He kind of like he specialized in bombs. He's a good guy. He knows how bombs. He's a demolition man. Yeah, he destroys buildings. And what ended up happening is that basically it's the fact that he has to pay off wife credit card debt, mortgage. Wife is rerailing him, treating him like trash. State he has to take on all of this debt, and what ended up happening was he decides to rob a bank, and yeah, he pays the money, he pays his alimony, he pays his child support, and it's kind of funny because all this stuff is racking up on him. He got a mortgage to pay off. You know, he has to pay his wife's credit card debt off. He's got
to go in front of the judge and explain why he can't make ends meet.
And he has to go and basically makes a payment, and it basically when he robs the bank, he gets away with it for the first time in his life, and he pays it. And the judge says, "Well, why you stop making the payments?" He's like, "Well, I just ain't got the money." Well, you came up with the money the first time, and you can't tell him how he come up with the money. So when he decides to become a villain, not because he doing some evil shit. It's just that the courts forced him to do some shit that he didn't want to do, and he ends up using his specialized in bombs. I'm not gonna say.
There's characters like that if you think about it. Sandman is like that. Sandman's bad because his daughter has cancer, or something like that, I think, and he's trying to like rob banks all the time to make money to fucking pay for the cure for her cancer.
Oh yeah, there's sympathetic characters like a Dr. Freeze is like trying to do it to save his wife. They recently retconned it to make where he's just in love with a random frozen chick. I mean, in the comics, but I think originally in the 90s they made it where it was like he is just trying to save his frozen wife. And the new one, he's just a crazy guy that's in love with a random frozen chick. But
I don't want to go on a tangent, but I got to point out, did you ever hit a point in your life where you looked back at the comics you read and actually some of the bad guys are actually good guys and the good guys are protecting the banks that are robbing everybody? So the good guys are actually the bad guys and the bad guys are the good guys sometimes? But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there.
I'm glad you brought that up because I feel like, and for me, going back to the issue I was writing when I wrote the issue, I didn't think about how really talks about men issues. It didn't beat you over the head with it. It's not no beat you over the head issue. It's talking about how his wife, the judges, in the situation when he has to pay the mortgage, her credit card debt. He only get to see his daughters 4 times out of every month, and how this is really tearing him down. He can't job, he can't afford these payments. There's a point where he gets locked up for child support payment. He gets locked up in jail, and he can't afford the payments. And it's like, well, my husband's sorry excuse as a husband, and he's trying to go to the judge. He's like, man, I can't afford it. I can't afford $1,500 in child support. I have no job here. I have no means of resources. And judge says, we're gonna lock you up. So when he gets out of jail, he's like, well, fuck it. I'm just gonna fucking rob a goddamn bank and just anyway. So
I'm just laughing though, because him and Nutjob could basically meet up in jail, basically.
And that's that point where he said in my first character I created, he runs it to him. And that point where my character's a complex guy, but he's sympathizing with the guy a little bit. He's looking to the background, and it's like in the first opening of the issue where my character stopped like 4 bank robbers from robbing robbing this armored truck thing, and he runs it to the guy. He's like, man, you're my hero. It's like, man, things good to know. And he had to stop the guy a little bit. And what ends up happening is he's looking into the guy background, and he's finding out he's this bomb specialist, and these guy worked his job. He looks into the guy work history, and every job he worked off, he got laid off at. I can see if the guy quit, he didn't quit, and there's a point where he turned into his
No, he's making all the right choices, but everything's
Yeah.
But he's under serious oppression and everything's falling apart around him.
Yeah, and he's turning.
He's not in control of that.
And he turns. And what ended up happening with the main character is my main character. Instead of seeing him as a piece of shit that is blowing people, is blowing buildings up and putting innocent lives, he's like, this man is crying out for help. This man was fucked over by the court system and realized he decides to say, you know what, fuck it, I just become a criminal and pay it that way. And that point where he sits there and that it's kind of before the character runs into the villain, well, not the villain, but the guy that really said that the states come in not the states, but the city and the people calling him a piece of shit because he's robbing banks and he's a criminal, all this other crazy shit. And there's a scene where my main character goes to the ex-wife. He got his daughter. He's like, he's talking to the ex-wife and he said, you created this. He said, I didn't create him. My husband's a sorry excuse for a fucking husband. That's why he's robbing banks, because he can't do it. I'm like, man, you fucking ruined this man's life. Like you, like he's like, let me have your daughter so I can take it to him so he can stop all this madness and just let him be in his life. My husband's sorry excuse for my husband's a sorry excuse for a man. A real man does this. A real, it's like, man, you in the courts derailed this man, create a situation where it's a no-win situation. I'm like, man, and he says, I don't know about you. She tells him, like, who are you to judge? You just wear cape and the mask. He said, it doesn't matter what cape and the mask. The point is, you created this narrative. You made him the villain. You created him. Yep. You created him. And she was like, he's a sorry excuse. So he's like, I'm like, man, I'm like, you, the courts, the judges, all you did, you created this guy.
Hey,
you need to
filter.
Yeah,
I just want to say one thing also. I actually want to run this idea by you and other people in here. Because I don't think I tried to bring it up with Johnny, but there was too much distraction and other people in the podcast. So I don't think anyone really, I don't think it had the impact it did. But listen, I've been trying to do this for a long time. And the number one problem with getting published is money. Because if you had enough money, you could print all your own issues. You could just send them to a publishing company that publishes anything for money, and you could print off 20,000 issues, and you would get the break in the price, and then you could sell them and make money, right, yourself. So, but if you don't have the money to do that, then I was thinking about this. Now I'm going to run this by you. Instead of trying to do the whole comic book and all this stuff, do a few pages and do some poster art. And then go to any fucking festival you can within a certain distance of you, and just walk around and make photocopies of your posters, like have a few different options for your character, and then go around to different festivals and be like, hey, I don't have a full comic book yet, but I'm selling poster art, and here's the beginnings of the comic book, and let them look at the few pages, and I guarantee you could sell poster art. 50 cents a poster, $1 a poster, and just have it be for coloring too. Like you might even be able to go to like a dollar store, buy a couple colored, buy cheap ass colored pencils or crayons and make up packets too, and sell like a poster with a few crayons or something, and make a little money so that you then can at least start funding yourself to publish your own comic book. What do you think about that idea?
I think that's a dope idea. I think that for me, and that's what I'm saying, for me, like, even though I want to get my whole comic published, because I ain't got the means and resources like that, so I'm kind of saving my money up for it. I'm going through a lot of I'm like on my laptop while I'm doing talk to you guys. I'm searching for like companies that do like cheap copyrights, like affordable copyrights where you can actually copyright a character and it's be affordable. I mean, there's companies.
I think DeviantArt is almost just as good, actually. If you just get your character on DeviantArt, it's on record on the internet anyway. I don't know, but I was just throwing that out.
Like for me, and I think going back to what I was saying before, I think that when I think this series is so important, not just for creating, not just for writing, not just drawing, that you kind of have that's why I created this series, self-creators, for you guys, for you mid-towers that deep into comic books or novels or one-offs, whatever. I think that we have to get together because I want to see this come together, because I want to see every person that whatever dream and hobby they got, whatever passion they got for a character, because to me, I don't know about everybody else, but I love creating, man. It's fun, it's writing, and like I said it so many times, I tell people so many times, like, if I had a girlfriend, if I had a wife, and all these other kids and shit. Like if I had all this type of shit, I probably would not be the creator I am or the writer I am, because one, I'm dedicated to my craft, and two, I think it's so important that as men we kind of, you know, focus on ourselves and we get the writing done. But I think writing to me, I think writing is very important, but I understand why some people don't want to write, because I feel like writing is so much of a damn. It's like
everybody wants to be a penciler, basically, when it comes to comic books. Everybody wants to do the pencils.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and it's like I feel like that's I mean, that's for me, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not knocking nobody just for wanting to create, because it makes sense to me. But to me, because I'm a hard worker, I love challenge. I love a challenge, so I love to challenge myself while create then write. Create and write. So for me, it's like the only thing I'm not good at is drawing. If I know how to draw, I just draw everything on myself.
Most of my actual creation is anything that just comes natural. Like any character I've ever created, it's like I can't just sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna create a fucking comic book character now. What happens is I'll be like, I'm usually pontificating. That's how Nutjob came up. Yeah. I was like in my living room, super just pontificating. I rent my upstairs out too, and I'm pretty sure they think I'm a total fucking nutcase, but I don't care. So I was like, so I was down here like talking to myself and like going, oh motherfucking fucking oh, like that, and I was like pacing around, and I was like, if you know, I was like, fine, if fucking, you know, if I was like, if being pro father and and anti-feminist and anti all this fucking anti-bullshit and anti-government corruption makes me a nut job, then fine, I'm a fucking complete fucking nut job. And then I was like, hey man, I was like, nut job would be a cool idea for a character. And then I got online and I typed in nut job, and oh my god, nobody fucking used nut job. Can you believe it?
I mean, and you know what's even more funnier? You know what even more funny like that? I tell you, Stuart, like a lot of my characters I create, it just be some random shit. I can look at a fucking billboard and just hear the name Glory or Grace, and it's like, that's a dope ass name. I write the name down, and it's kind of like I get at home. I have my iPod, I have my phone, I have like notes everywhere. I have like a notepad with me. I carry with me at all times to write my ideas down. And like ever since I became this advanced creator, dude, it's like I can create 10 to 15 characters. I try to create 10 characters a day.
I know you said that. That's a lot, dude. Oh my god, dude.
But the thing is, for me, is like I don't use a lot of those characters. A lot of those characters I'm not going to. A lot of those characters I'm going to use. Some characters I don't want to use. It's because I do that to let them know, like, yeah, let people know I can't create. So I can't create on the fly.
You kind of got to do that if you're going to create a whole universe. Unless you're going to join Marvel or DC or Image and use their universe, then you got to get creating your own universe, basically. Yeah.
So I can create my own universe. So if it's like, if I ever decide to, like, I'm say if I'm writing for Marvel and DC and said, you know what, I don't mind.
You gotta have your godlike beings. You gotta have your fucking, you know, your vigilantes. You gotta have your fucking superheroes. You gotta have your technological people. All that shit. Like,
even my villains, they do despicable shit. But like a lot of my villains, a lot of my villains, they are despicable as fuck, fam. Like a lot of my villains, like I have a villain called Purge. And this motherfucker is insane. He is like an anarchist. Like he's an anarchist. Like he don't care about money. He don't care about like power. He just want the world to burn, bro. He's like, fuck this shit. Burn some shit down. And I was like, I'm like, damn. But in reality though, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna kill a lot of flack for this, dog. Like anarchists, I agree with them, dog. Like I agree with some of their points. Like, look, sometimes you gotta get your fucking hands on to fuck some shit up here to prove your point. So it's
check my symbol out, man. You look at my full avatar, man. I have the anarchy symbol forms the A of my avatar I made 2 years ago.
Dude, like no, so, it's funny with Purge because even my main character who runs into Purge, because he causes anarchy in the city, and my character's like, you know, it's like, dude, what the fuck is your problem? Because his parents were deranged serial killers. His parents killed people. Like his parents were deranged. It's some dark, twisted shit, bro. Like parents were deranged serial killers. He killed people for so long, and and it kind of talks about mental health, talks about like trauma and pain. Like there's a point.
I had a comic relief character about a 5-year-old that called StarBrite, who wishes on a star one time to be a superhero. And he becomes a superhero, but the problem is he has the mind of a 5-year-old. So he's at school the next day bragging about it, and the school bully, Tommy, beats him up, basically. Is like, oh, yeah, you're a superhero, and then he beats him up in the bathroom. So the kid because he can only become a superhero at night when the stars are out. So So he goes home, and at that night, when the stars come out, he turns into a super. This is the first issue. He turns into a superhero, and he flies over to Tommy's house, and he like knocks on the door, and the mother answers, and he's like, "Hello, I'm StarBrite. Is Tommy here?" And the mother's like, "He's upstairs. Hold on." And she's like, "Tommy, there's a superhero here to see you." And you hear this kid upstairs. He's like, "I'm sick. I don't feel good. Tell him to go away." And she's like, and he just barges in the house. He's like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." And he like goes upstairs and he like grabs the kid and he smacks him, but he doesn't realize that he's a superhero. And he smacks the kid so hard the kid's head basically explodes.
Damn.
And then he's like, "Oh shit!" And he like stuffs the kid's body under the bed and like flies through the roof of the house and takes off because he's scared.
Damn.
So then he ends up getting like the detectives come to his house. Oh, dude, it was so funny. The detectives come and he has to go down to a superhero lineup, and there's like a whole bunch of superheroes that look kind of like him, like Light Star and Bright Star and all the, you know what I mean? And he gets found, he gets caught and he has to go to like superhero probation school and all this stuff. That was a while ago I came up with that character, but I thought it was pretty funny.
But I want to ask you guys a question, because this goes back to writing and creating. Do you think there's such thing this is a question I've been always asking myself for comic books. I've been reading comic books for years. I started reading comic books 23, 24, but I read them as a kid, but I never into I read them, but I didn't want to enter the industry until I got 23, 24. Do you think there's such thing as a stupid character? Anything any character you create? Do you believe there's such thing as anything as a stupid character or a stupid name? Because I think that's a deep question.
Yeah,
I mean,
some people think Jar Jar Binks is a stupid character, but then there's people out there that like him.
Yeah, I hate Jar Jar Binks.
I mean, there's even,
I really dislike
like Polka Dot Man and silly ass characters like that, Polka Dot Man, Mirror Man, and shit like that. There's our Condiment King and shit like that. I'm thinking of Batman because you have the Batman avatar, but also I'm a huge Batman fan anyway. But you have the Comic King, and they brought up a lot of those villains in the new Lego Batman movie, where they bring up all the shitty ass Batman.
Yeah, like
these shitty ass characters. Yeah,
superheroes.
Like Bob Kane, Bill Figure. They came up with some stupid ass characters. Of course.
But the reason why I asked that question is because, do you think if the character, yeah, because Condiment King and Condiment King is with Condiment Pippa, Polka Dot Man, yeah, they're crazy. But do you think if they was written well, you think
I was just about to say sometimes it might depend on how it's done. Like you can kind of revive it because it's hard to do anything completely new anymore. Yeah. But you can still do new angles to things that nobody's done yet. You know what I mean? But
it's hard to make that because a guy using a ketchup gun as his primary weapon is just too I don't know if you could make that work. That's really hard.
The reason why I asked that question is because I got characters. They really dumb. They were like real dumb, silly names. But how I write them, because I've been creating so well, they have dark past. Like I have a character called Chuckles, and it's like Chuckles the clown, whatever. But you look into his past. This motherfucker dark, twisted, sadistic. This dude made Joker like a goddamn kid. This dude made what the shit Joker doing to Batman. This character I create, Chuckles. He makes he makes Joker the shit Joker does in DC Comics like a goddamn kid. Look like nothing, dude. This dude fucking kill people. He stabs pregnant women, kidnaps kids, tortures people, and for him it's more like he enjoys watching people suffer. For him, it's like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna do what I want to do. He's a dark.
Yeah, it sounds like a total Luciferian. Yeah. He enjoys violence like you enjoy a sunset or something like that.
But DC and Marvel is supposed to. I don't know. I think they went the kid friendly route, whatever. Fucking just to boost sales, sell fucking toys and shit and games and all that crap. So that's why they're not really all that, fucking dark or anything, right? Because kids may be fucking reading their shit or whatever. So yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was distracted. What were you saying?
I said probably DC and Marvel are more kind of kid friendly and shit. They're they don't want to go full out, blood and guts and everything, right? Because they want the fucking sell.
Yeah, unlike Image or Dynamite, they don't give a fuck.
But one for me, because I'm an adult, And I like comic books that can go deal with adult things, because I talk about on Black Arrow drug addiction. Mom was a drug addict, dad was a
Actually,
18 and up, like at least young adults. I don't want to get stuck with like a foul, like 12-year-old, 13-year-old followers and stuff like that.
you know, actually, I was actually thinking of creating like adult comics, right? Like that's what I wanted to do, because I know there's like not a lot of people want to do the old adult shit. Everyone wants to do like the whole kind of young adults, you know, fucking teen, kid-friendly shit. Right? I'm like, nah, fuck that. Like,
I'm not opposed to throwing a little nudity and shit into fucking nut job.
yeah,
Only because it's reality. Oh, if you're gonna reflect reality, like I really try to reflect reality. You know what I mean?
That's what you do it, man.
I think that's another thing too. Like whenever you're like trying to create or write, you should try and like make your shit kind of grounded in reality, right? Try to make it seem realistic, even if it's fantasy.
Believable. It's got to be believable, and reality is very believable.
Like,
Even if it's fantasy, though.
I'm glad you brought that up, guys. I'm glad you guys brought that up, because to me, Black Arrow, you know, even though he's a comic book character and his character is some comic book type of shit, or it is kind of grounded. Like his mom being a drug addict, like he grew up in a drug infested neighborhood. Mom was a fucking drug addict, getting high all the damn time. Dad was an alcoholic, would beat him up when he would get drunk. He was a complex guy. Grandfather had like his boxing gym, taught him how to box. And like his mentor who taught him archery, you know, he teaches archery, teach him discipline, teach him how to deal with stuff in his life. But like, like Black Arrow, out of all the characters I created, all his characters like ruthless kingpins, they don't give a fuck. Like if like he has two of his friends that are like two ruthless kingpins, and like the whole entire time it's like for them it's like they're a product of their environment. Like they two black gangsters, but they're a product of the environment. And talk about how the environment it's kind of like how the environment create the villain. So it's like if you grew up in a drug-infested neighborhood and all you saw was like pimps, prostitutes, gangsters, gangs on every corner, and then you go into that life and you be like, well, fuck it, that's what it is.
There's a Spider-Man that I drew, that Bart Sears. I actually posted this on Bart Sears' website, and he gave it a thumbs up. I actually
nice, man. That is really good.
I have Bart Sears' business. Bart Sears. I saw Nutjob at a convention. You know who Bart Sears is, right? I hope you guys know who Bart Sears is.
I heard of him.
He did Exo Manowar and fucking Turok Dinosaur.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, oh man, yeah, Valiant Comics. I didn't know his name, but yeah, I know. I'm a fan of Valiant.
Yeah, he did Brutes and Babes and Wizard Magazine, How to Draw series, Brutes and Babes, and all that shit. But yeah, I have his business card. Him and his producer looked at Nutjob and both handed me their business cards and were like, "When you're ready to submit it, give us a call." That's what they said to me. I have their business. I can show you his business card. I have it right here. I have his fucking business card. So it's like, and like, I'm not a good artist. I grew up in a fucking shitty little fucking town where if you're in my town, it's like, if you're an artist, people are like, "What are you, a fucking faggot?" You know what I mean? Like, that's my town for you. But anyway,
that's most towns, man.
Yeah, right. I want to be an artist. What are you, a fucking faggot?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're drawing like comics. I mean, they don't even understand like how cool comics can be. I mean, they're just dumbasses. They sit around watching Men in Tights and play football, and they think that's macho.
Here's Nutjob stringing a fold-out bow with explosive arrows in his quiver, getting ready to blow up the SWAT team. Standing on a building top, like, "Oh, here comes SWAT now."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up there. He's gonna be like some Russian shit.
Like that. That what this series is about, man. It's about like seeing different mentalities do different hobbies. Because like for me, dude, I don't know about. I love creating, bro. Like I fucking love that shit, bro. Like to see you, Stuart, and see you, Armcharm, and Luiz, and see people that actually talk about it. Cause like people all the time, cause like I'm from like I'm pretty sure Armchair. The SFL stream last week. Thank God last week is fucking over, bro. That shit fucking pissed me the fuck off, man. Pro-black. I talked about this, and it was something I was saying. I was talking about this series. I love this topic too, because when it comes to writing, is that I'm a black man in America, and I feel like sometimes for me, I don't discuss race issues on none of my characters. I don't do that race baiting bullshit. Like to me, because I feel like I want to appeal to all different audiences. I want to appeal to white people. I want to appeal to blacks. I want to appeal to Asian. I want to appeal to men, women. I want to appeal to like a lot of people. And even though most of my writing is mature things, because I deal with adultery in comic books. I do deal with like drug abuse. I deal with like sex trafficking. I deal with rape and all kinds of shit. I deal with a lot of topics that I feel like a lot of people don't want to talk about it. And to me, like E. Stewart, I prefer the real life, man. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd like do 1 or 2 issues on some comic book shit, but to me, I prefer when the character has like a gun smuggling operation or a drug smuggling operation, because it makes it more realer. So it's like, okay, like my character Black Arrow, most of his characters are like kingpins. They sell poison to the people, and
we can kind of redeem men through comic books and show the whole blue pill, red pill aspect of everything. So if anybody should be doing comics right now, it should be MGTOW people. But yeah,
exactly. That's what I've been saying, man.
It goes back to my point. Like, even my character Black Arrow, like for him, it's more like there's a point where he's talking to one of his tech guy that helps him work on his arrows. It's constantly building. It's constantly creating him brand new arrows to use when he's out fighting crime. And he's talking to the guy, and he was talking to him, and was like, there was like, Black Arrow, man, like, I know you fight crime and everything, but don't you want a personal life? Because the guy's kind of blue pill. And he was talking to him, was like, man, I'm a superhero, man. He said, I'm an archer, man. I use archery. He's like, he said something that's so dope when I wrote the issue for him. He's talking to him. He's like, I had no time for personal life because, one, my arch nemesis knew I had a love interest. He can easily just go after her, get to me. He says, plus when you have a love interest, you can be tied down a little bit. Plus, I want to get up and come and go as I please and be able to fight crime, and I can get up and do what I want to do and actually protect the city. Because if I have a love interest, if I had a wife and girlfriend, I was actually in a committed relationship, I would have to be committed to her and the city. I can't be committed to her and the city, so I'd rather just be a bachelor and just fight crime. And I'd rather just fight crime as my persona Black Arrow and just call it a day.
That's pretty MGTOW right there.
And for me, and that's the first MGTOW character I ever created. Like, he's actually MGTOW. Like, he red pilled as fuck. Like, he's just like, dude, like, women will tie you down. There's a point where my main character, who's the first character I created, he's kind of married. I created him with blue pill. And the whole idea when he's talking to him, he was like, man, it's like, dude, you got a wife and everything. She's nagging you to death, talking about, even though you're a superhero and you sacrifice some of your life to protect others, she's complaining to you about, like, I told you, dude, when you got married, that venture is going to happen, that your wife going to want more. She's going to want more from you. Because, like,
the realer you keep your shit like this, the better chance we have of crossing universes than if we ever do get anything off the ground.
Yeah,
because I'm doing what you're doing, basically. It seems like we're all like on the same page right here, basically.
And a lot of my characters, a lot of my characters, like, the first character I created is married. The rest of them, none of them is married. They'd rather be single and just live life and just save the world, make sure people are protected. But there's a point where Black Arrow, what I love about that character is I feel like he has the best universe. He has some of the best villains. Villains are complex. He got a great arch nemesis. I mean, for me, what I love about creating, and this goes back to writing, goes back to anything I do. You can put creating, writing in the same type of category. Is when you're creating and writing is so dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody will tell you, Stuart will tell you.
Having full control is awesome, but they won't let you, dude. That's like almost won't let you do that anymore. Like, you go to college. It's like you have to be able to be part of a team or you're going nowhere now. And it's like I like having full fucking control over what the fuck I'm doing. You know what I mean? You know, unless somebody brings up a good idea, because I know a good idea when I hear one too. But I mean, other than that, you know, I get worried. Like, if I'm creating something, it's like my baby, man.
Yeah,
man. I wish I could. I need to have you give you my summaries and shit like that, and you could draw me up my world where it's a different world on a different planet. So race, I don't worry about making it just a black character, and then that turns off maybe other races. I can just make a alien world, and it can.
I'm trying to ask you a question. Like, I don't want to discuss you. I don't like. Are you black or white?
I'm black, man.
Like, okay, yeah. I just want to make sure. Like, do you have the same mindset I have? You like discussing race issues when you create characters?
I don't. I do it in a indirect way where I make it a metaphor. I don't hit you over the head. I'm not trying to be Thomas Simon or say, "Oh, Negroes ain't shit" or whatever. I'm trying to not. I'm trying to give you something. Oh, okay. I'm trying to give you a metaphor about how everybody needs a race. We have differences and shit, but it doesn't mean that we have to let all this shit and we have to fight with other poor white people. You know, that's just stupid.
You gotta almost have like a greater nemesis to get all the people on board and stop fighting over petty shit, basically.
Well, that's what I do. That's what I'm gonna have it be about. Yeah. It's gonna be. I'm not trying to rip off Watchmen or anything, but it will be probably an alien planet. An advanced race attacks them that is just totally on a level. They're like they don't even need to eat. These people are so advanced. Well, they were just born with this mutation. They don't even need to eat, you know. So I don't want to give too much away.
The reason why Armchair I asked that question because I'm not gonna talk about the subject of this shit behind me now and that topic was behind me like last week about pro-blacks and how they were talking shit about the Black Panther trailer saying, oh, it's Marvel and Disney owned by Jewish people and this and that. And they give black nerds the trailer and like I was saying with that people was like to me, I'm a black man in America. I'm a man first. I'm a man first and black man second. And I do that to myself when I write comic books because to me it's the fact that I don't discuss race at all. I don't discuss race.
Before I even met you guys, I had already a story planned out where like Nutjob is trying to get away from the police and he has to fucking run into a ghetto. And he's like, oh fuck. But then he ends up meeting up with this other black fucking vigilante. And they're like, oh, cool, and they just go out and start kicking ass together, like basically, like I already had that story planned out before I even met you, man.
Yeah, like and the thing is like with me and Armchair, like the reason why I Armchair that question because Armchair mean you think like, bro, I fucking hate when it's race issues, bro. That shit is tiring to talk about. It's tiring to talk about. Like I was it was like one of the streams I deleted. It was like pro-blacks in the comments talking about, you know, you need to create a pro-black character. Your character's not pro-black enough. I'm pro-black, but I create characters. And then I respond to the comment and I just deleted it after that point. When I was telling him, I was like, I'm pro-black and my character is white, so he's anti-white supremacy. And I was telling him, I said, your character is gonna fail before you get off the ground. And it was like, how it's gonna fail? I said, dude, you can't when you're creating a character. Stewie to tell you this, Armchair Luiz, anybody to tell you, Midtown or not, any content to create, you got to appeal to different audiences. You can't appeal to one audience because guess what happened? Your character never go anywhere. I talk about when I tell them I was like, dude, I create characters. Yeah, my characters be black. But when they be black, when Stewart or Armchair, when my characters get off the ground, but Black Arrow is going to appeal to all people of all races, of all different backgrounds. You know, if I'm creating a female character and she's a goddess, I'm going to try to make sure she can relate to everybody, even though I fucking hate feminism. That I don't try to appeal to those people. So for me, I'm learning to this. When I tell people all the time, I was like, this is the problem I have with being black sometimes. That sometimes I feel like my skin color getting in the way of me being a great content creator. And even though I don't dress it, it bothers me that I really can't fucking get past that point. You know?
Yeah, you can still show her as a feminist and still critique her.
Yeah.
Within the storyline, basically, like another character that calls her a fucking bitch, basically. You know, I don't know, but.
Yeah, but I like doing it in round. I don't like to hit people over the head with like a sledgehammer. I like to give you a message, an encoded message. I mean, I even look at, for example, Marvel Comics and Daredevil. Like, there is some red pill shit in there. It's just not over the top. But I don't know if Frank Miller was trying to do it intentionally or if it just so happened it came out like that. With like Typhoid Mary and Elektra, like they're evil bitches that are.
I like your approach. I'm more of the Sledgehammer guy, but I agree with your approach. I'm not that savvy.
right, yeah. I mean, granted, I haven't really gotten. I have an old concept I've written a long time ago, and it's really crude. Just wrote a summary. I'm reworking it to make and I haven't even decided whether I want to write a novel or a comic yet because I'm not a good artist like you, Stuart, where I can just draw very good comic book characters.
We can have private sessions and do that stuff too. Actually, just tips and tricks on because drawing comic books really is a formula. You just have to know the formula.
Yeah.
I know. I've drawn portraits before. I've drawn like a picture of Nightman.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
There's shortcuts. There's a lot of shortcuts and stuff. But yeah. You just kind of you got to have kind of an idea what your page is going to look like, and
simple shapes turn into complex shapes.
Exactly.
You put connecting a bunch of simple shapes together to make a person.
Bubble muscles help out, and you got to understand legs. You got to understand there's only two possible shapes for legs. It's a B shape and an S shape. If you can see one ankle, the leg looks like an S shape. The thigh protrudes out, and then it tucks into the shin to the knee, and then the shin goes straight down from the shin. It almost looks like a chicken leg, you know what I mean, like an S shape. If you can see both ankles, if you can see two ankles, then the leg is going to be a B shape. It's going to be a straight line from the crotch to the inside ankle, and then you're going to see the B shape of the thigh goes to the knee, and then another bulge out for the calf to the outer ankle. So you got your B shape and your S shape. Once you get that down, and I'll show you some of this stuff later. I don't want to get on a tangent once again, but yeah, I can show you some of this stuff.
I mean, yeah, I think that and for me, the reason why I think that this series is so important, man, for creators to have bounce ideas off each other, because I think sometimes for me, because like when I'm talking to you guys, and for me, because like none of my friends, my friends I have, they on that conscious type of stuff all the time, and they always pro-black, this and that. I'm like, dudes, like, you gotta create, when you're creating characters, man, you gotta understand, you gotta appeal to all people. What up, Sid?
Yeah, and once again, you can't have a vacuum. You're gonna create a vacuum. Like, I purposely I have to integrate colored people and women and everything into my comic book. It has to be that way. But anyway, yeah.
So Sid, what's your thoughts on writing? Like, do you enjoy writing?
Oh yeah, I'm one of those types of this when I got to get a running start. It takes me a little while to kind of hit that edge, but when I do, man, this stuff just pours out of my writing utensil or my fingers or wherever, and right onto the paper.
Cool. Okay, yeah. So overall, and I think that what people don't realize is that writing, creating is the same thing. It's just that it takes time. And like going back to what Stuart was saying is that, dude, you got to understand. I talk about when I create characters, when I create inside a supporting cast of the main hero, what I'm doing is I create black, white characters. I kind of Asian. I create people of different backgrounds, because to me, I feel like writing a character, it just as much as drawing, writing, drawing, creating is so important, because you need three elements to have a great character. You need a creator, you gotta have, well, I won't say original idea, but because then there's no such thing as original idea, and then the writing, which is makes it the writing is better. Like writer's block can happen. But I want to ask you guys a question. This is a question for all you guys in the stream, and even you guys in the chat. When you guys write, do you guys get writer block? And when that does happen, how do you deal with it? Because I feel like I get it from time to time, and I take like 1 or 2 days off, and I go right back to it because it gets very frustrating.
Yeah, I've not because I've taken a long hiatus. It's been like since 2014 since I've seriously written anything.
Damn.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you this, No Filter. How many in your head? I know you sit awake and think about this shit. So in your head, about how many years worth of fucking content do you have for Black Arrow? 5 years, couple of years? How many? You know what I mean? Showing him go to jail, showing everything that you just broke down to us.
Timeline, I guess.
I think to me, to like put the character time out for the character, like how long could the character last?
Yeah, like no, in real life, like how many issues of it could you generate right now, just based on like everything you were just talking about, showing his origin, showing him rob the bank, showing him going to court and everything. Sounds to me like you got at least a couple of years worth of content right there, right?
I probably say this, and this including all the other characters I created. I probably have like, and this I'm just reaching with this. I'm just throwing this out there hypothetically. I say 30 years of it. If God bless me enough to see it, 30 years of it.
See, I'm thinking you've don't have to. You just kind of gotta refine it all and get it all out into a comic book form then, because you got it pretty much all ready to go in your head.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I have so much content. I have cults. I have secret societies I created. Dude,
I gave away both my story arcs right on air. I mean, you were there when so I got at least 4 or 5 years worth of content. So.
And that's what I'm saying with writing, that, you know, I always say this with the series, is that for guys, this show is for you guys out there, for you guys in the stream, for you guys in the chat. Like, this series is about that. It's about basically taking your ideas and what you are. And here's the thing for me, I turned 29 this year. To me, I'm so glad I found what I want to do, and my hobbies is I want to write comic books for the rest of my life. This is my hobby. This is my dream. This is what I want to do with my life. And I think a lot of the times when it comes to just, some people say they rather have success when they're younger, because you get to experience a lot more. But I'm glad I'm getting older, because now I know what I want. I look back when I started comic books 23, 24, I was so indecisive about it, where I just created the character and it was just that. And I got 25, 26, 27, now I'm 28, and I turned 29 in October. And like, now I'm older, and I'm like, I'd rather have success older than younger, because now I'm able to know what I want. I've been through a lot more things, and like Stuart said, the older you get, the more life experiences you have, the more you can take your life experiences and roll them into, whether you decide to do Armchair says he doesn't do comic books, he wants to do like graphic novels, whatever. But like, for me, I'm able to take my life experiences and learn them and gravitate them and put them into the stories. So I want to question you guys, like, do you think, like, you guys being older are able to help your stories? But would you have, like, if you wrote comics when you was young, do you think would you be able to tell the stories you tell now?
No.
No way.
Definitely not.
No.
I go ahead and tell you, I wrote a story when I was in 2002-ish, when I was about 11. I wrote I think I was 10 now. I was born in 91, so what was I, 10 or some shit? Anyway, 11, I think. I wrote this concept called Magma. I can go ahead and admit it. I copyrighted just for fun anyway, back when I was a kid anyway. But it was very derivative of basically Marvel Comics. I mean, derivative of Spider-Man and other heroes like that. But I was 10 years old, you know, so I made something very derivative. I wrote about 150 pages on an old notebook.
Damn. Woo.
Back as a kid, man. So yeah, I've been writing for a long time.
Right. That's a lot for
I've been kicking around the idea that I've had for this one comic that I've been writing for. It's been about 10 years or so now, but I was, you know, it was never a full-time thing for me. I was kind of in and out of it, and all of a sudden hitting MGTOW, I look back at it and I'm like, I gotta change this story before it even gets off the ground, because what the hell am I doing? And
was it bad?
It was the stereotypical, you know, pervert who always does this and that and always getting his ass beat by the women character kind of deal.
That sounds like a anime almost.
It is. It's a graphic novel. Yeah. And I started looking at it and I started realizing, well, how could I rework this, and how could I turn him around to where now the general idea of the story will still go in the same way that I had it, but now he's different. And so now he's pretty much, you know, kind of like me, a loner. You know, he tinkers around with stuff all the time. At the beginning of the story, he gives dating a try, and he gets tired of it very quickly. And he's trying to find ways to break it off with this chick. This chick is like nutso in the head. You know, shit like that, you know, putting him in situations that he never said, you know, putting words in his mouth, saying he promised to marry her when he definitely didn't. But it's, you know, one of those post-apocalyptic, got to make the world right kind of thing.
Somebody brought it up, post-apocalyptic. I was just thinking it, like, I've already thought that word like 3 times in my head, but I haven't said it yet.
this isn't like Mad Max post-apocalyptic. This is society's been destroyed. Everybody went underground. Everybody come back up, and now everything's been kind of pretty much rebuilt. But see, now the image or the way society has been rebuilt is completely all wrong. Everybody's kind of, you know, enslaved. Actually, to be honest with you, the men are like literally enslaved. They are given till they are 23. And if they are not married by 23, they go back underground to work in the mines. And if they're married by then, they have to get a ring or an implant or something. And basically the women actually have total control over them. The whole landscape, the whole everything, it's like 1-2-story houses because the men are never allowed to be doing whatever long enough to make skyscrapers and shit like that, because it's just enough for the women and then that's it.
So are there like rogue dudes that escaped and shit like that?
That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to avoid all that and trying to release everybody. He's trying to get the he's one of the unlikely heroes. He really doesn't know about it, nor does he really care about it at first, until he starts having to come to grips with the fact that he's not immune. He thought he was immune given who his father was, or adopted father, let's just say, I'm still working out his exact origin, but pretty much, yeah, he has to keep coming to grips with the fact that his fate is pretty much sealed unless he does something about it.
Hey, nutjob should make a special appearance.
Crossover.
But it revolves. Basically, it revolves because the main premise. Basically, before everything had went down with the apocalypse, a scientist was working on a supercomputer that was supposed to hold all of the world's knowledge, information, pop culture, this, that, and the other thing. And this thing was supposed to then be tasked with redispensing the knowledge of the new civilization. Well, somebody else got a hold of it for their own end, started tweaking this and that around, and that's kind of how we ended up where men are underground and subservient to women and all this other stuff.
Some bitch got a hold of it, man.
No, actually a dude got a hold of it for his own ends. But see, he corrupted the core of it, but throughout the world are separate pieces of the backup system where it was pretty much separated and distributed out, and so he's got to go and help collect all these extra pieces, bring it back to the computer, reinstall the original operating system, and then set the whole thing to rights. So that
so that it's teaching people the correct things.
Yeah, and trying to undo, because there's a magical element too, like a magical metaphysical, like there's actually like magic holding and binding people and things, and and if this were released, because this computer has a lot to do with these things.
Wow.
And it's kind of, I guess, think of the computer from Gem and the Holograms type thing in a way. I guess this computer actually has the ability to manifest certain things, but
you should just make it multi-dimensional, or you should be able to make it like it's not.
Can you repeat that? You're kind of breaking up a bit.
I'm sorry. I was saying, basically, it sounds like it's able to open different dimensions.
You're still breaking up. I can't understand the word. I am so sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Whatever. It's not that important, I guess.
Can
anybody else hear me?
There we go. There we go.
All right.
But I think the reason why the guys I asked you that question, because I think you guys are 100% right, bro. Like, the older I get now, because I have like facial, well, y'all something, my face for 2 seconds, whatever. But like overall, like the older I get, dude, I think the more experience I become, the more my writing mature things, the more issues I'm able, the more mature issues I'm more like tackle on. And I think when you're writing, like going back on just shoot this what you were saying, I think back when the first character I created, I created this character around 2014, 2015, whatever. I created this character like 2014, 2015, whatever, 2013, whatever. I created this character. And I look back on the character now, how advanced the character is, and the issues I've written for the character, and how many issues I'm in. I'm in 80 issues on this character right now. And like I think back on it now, how the character was before, how he was just this guy, the solo guy he was doing alone. Now he got a team of heroes that he worked up, that he fight alongside with in the city. And like the villains becoming more complex. He started to take on like immortal God, guys like immortal people and villains that just like that's undestructible, that he can't stop, that he can't just punch. He has to think, so he has to figure out how you're going to outsmart these villains that intellectually challenge him. And I think when you get older, and I think it's 100% true. I understand why people say, when you look at Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, people say you rather have success older than when you're younger. Because when you're younger, you're still young, indecisive, you're still trying to figure things out. But I think the older you get, you tend to you tend to become more mature and more wiser to life experiences, and you climb towards whatever it is, but especially your creations.
Well, also,
you're less prone to squander it.
When I was younger in the 80s, it was the whole terrorism thing. Like, the whole terrorism thing was going on, and like, so my big character was like it was like a tactical military anti-terrorist response team guy named.
Well, this was the Cold War, though, right?
In the 80s, it was the like Iran Contra, and like you know, some hostages were held over, and
I remember a little bit from the 80s
and all this stuff, you know. Yeah,
I remember a little bit from the 80s, but I remember a lot, you know, still kind of the Cold War and everything too. Saddam started up with the Scud missiles and all that.
This goes with the whole this is what goes with the whole blue pill, red pill thing. Is now I'm red pill, so my guy's not going to work for the fucking government because the government's fucking funding all the terror, man.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. No, but they didn't tell me that in public school, so how would I have known? I had to find it.
No, and they're not.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's crazy, but there it is.
So I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the older you get, because now, like, the characters I create now, I create them as bachelors. Like, they don't have love interests. Some I give love interests, some I don't. But like Black Arrow, one of my favorite characters I created, he's a bachelor, man. He choose not to engage with the opposite sex. For him, it's more like, I'm a superhero, man. I'm a vigilante. I'm an archer. I run $1 billion business, and I can't run. You know, I can't run my corporation, fight crime in my city, and be in a relationship because I'll be tied down. And it's like, I feel like that's what I'm saying. Like, the older you get, that's what I'm saying. With life experiences, it should be this way, especially if you're a man. That the older life experience, the older you get, how your life experience should alter. Now, it should make you appreciate life more, make you more mature, and make you make more wise decisions. And I think a lot of the times when you talk about men, especially being men in America and traditionalism and shit like that. There's a point where my character now, I won't issue 80 of the character. My character's married or whatever, but like, he's not married. My character's married. My first character I created, he's married. But for him, it's more like his marriage is not starting to his marriage starting to fall apart. Like, he's not that happy go. I hate that word, happy go lucky. He's not the happy guy he was when he got married. He's like, man, for me, it's like, I can't, you know, he's like, wow, man, I just can't, you know, I'm not happy. He's not happy. He has torn conflict.
It's fun showing some artwork. Look at this, dude. Speaking of Black Arrow, dude, here's an archer right here shooting some fucking mutant lizards.
That shit dope, man. That's dope.
There's an arrow.
Oh, man. Damn, that looks good.
Yeah, dude.
And speaking of devil, though, man, I got a bow and arrow life, man. I got a recurve.
Yeah, using reference is good. I've been shooting bows my whole life, so, but I mean, yeah, I still use reference, you know. But yeah, there's a page. Here's my guy. Here's Nutjob making his SWAT buster armor in the basement. If I can get this, it's hard for me to get. Like, all right, wait, let me see. There he is going down the stairs to his basement. There he is working on the breastplate right there with the suit in the back.
That's so dope.
He's screwing the plates on. There he is when he's done smoking a cigarette, having a beer. It's the SWAT buster armor, dude, for when he fights the SWAT team. Then he goes upstairs and shuts the lights out. But yeah, there's that.
I'm gonna be the first one. You already got my money. You make that comment, man.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's about, like seeing everybody be passionate about what they are. And I think that so many times when we get so many things that this one talking about the series is about. It's about creators block. It's about letting creators show their content off and bounce their ideas, and we support one another. And I think that to me,
Yeah. Sure.
and that's why I wanted to do this series. I want to really do this series to, you know, to let show people like, yo, we mentals out there, but you know what I'm saying? People want to talk shit about us. But let me tell you something, dude. Ever since I became mental, a lot of my view on the characters I create has way changed, a lot better. Like my view of life is way different. I create my male characters where even if they're in relationships, they kind of don't want to get married and that stuff, because for them it's like, I'm a superhero, so why would I want to engage with that? And here's the thing, and I want to say this too. Even if you decide to do a character, you have the character get married, you can have him be kind of somewhat red pill, but he kind of red pill at the same time, and like he's aware of it. Like he's not going into it blindly think I'm finding my soulmate. So, like I said before, with me writing, I think that my writing has matured a lot better, because now
I'll pump out a few pages with you just to see how it goes, dude. I'll sketch out some stuff, man. You send me like you know what I mean, a few pages worth of something. I'll sketch it right out for you, man.
Matter of fact, we're gonna do it off. Just give me. When we go off air, I'm gonna just because it be off air and when we record it, and we can change information and I send it to you. So,
all right.
Yeah, but yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like people like use this channel to link up with a person. So if y'all got bounce ideas, like me and Stuart, we'll talk about this. Me and Armcharm gonna try to change personal information and have conversations so we can really link up.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, I'll rough things out. I can't be a one-man production team, but I'll rough pages out, and you guys can fucking ink them yourselves if you want, and that'll teach you guys how to draw. Basically, is just.
I think what guys have to understand is that this is what the series is about. This series, this podcast series is about. Is that we have hobbies out here, man, and like there's great talent out here. You know what I'm saying? Creating, writing, whether you choose to create, write, ink, whatever you want to be, editor, publisher, whatever. I think we all have to understand that when it comes to creating, it's not easy, it's not fun. But one thing about this, and talk about me ever since I became MGTOW, it has helped me so much in my character development, because to me, I think not only has helped me grow as a person, because I used to be on that liberal bullshit. I used to be on that pro-black conscious tip. So I was a conscious dude myself. I used to blame oppression and all that stuff on me. And then I became awoken. I don't say awoke, but I came across MGTOW, and it woke me up. And not only freed me from that fucking bullshit victim mentality that these conscious dudes want to have, but it got me out of that, a black person a black person should create a black character, or a white person should create a white character's mentality. I think that, and this is why I think this chapter is not just cool for us as content creators, having another white person like I knew this. A white guy created Blade. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby created Black Panther. Like, there's nothing wrong with, long as the person have good intent and they want to actually give a complex duality character, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think a lot of the times I'm past that point. And I think when you get past that race point, and that's what me and Armchair tell you, like, that's why I say, Armchair, man, you real cool, dude. Like I fuck with you heavy because I like people that think alike, because sometimes it's good to just agree to disagree. But I like people that that have that open mind mentality, that's open to ideas, and we can create characters.
Right. I mean, racism does exist, but I'm not on some pro-black bullshit where I'm like, yeah, man, I'm you know what I'm saying? It's hard to describe it quickly, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like to be on that type of shit is like that's just been falling into a trap, that's just stupid.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, when I tell people all the time about, like, the reason why I love this channel, the reason why I love MGTOW, the reason why ever since I woke up and took that red pill, dude, I have not only became a better person, I became a better content creator, I became a better writer. But coming across this series, like when I started doing this series, like when me and Johnny did it, and I was like, because I didn't get the views I wanted from it, because I'm not in it for the views, but I was like, I know my MGTOW content get a lot of hits, and I'm like, man, maybe I shouldn't do it. And I was like, whatever, I'm gonna continue doing it because this series is important. I want you guys to talk about it, because to me, this what this episode is about, man. This episode really is about, helping people, for those that want to write. If you want to write, You want to draw, you want to become an inker. I mean, there's a lot of things that into the comic book industry, and plus I know there's a lot of MGTOW that's into comic books heavy. They want to be in the industry. I want to be in the industry myself, and to me, I want to be my own person. Now
I want to make my own industry though, because man, everything we do, they'll make us pollute it with their bullshit.
Yeah.
That's why I had the idea that a lot of MGTOW ought to get together and make our own publishing house.
Yeah, something's got to happen, man.
We need enough people and enough resources together. There's no way they could ignore it.
I'll be an in-house artist for it. Even if I don't get paid at first, I can, like I said, I can at least rough things out for you guys.
Yeah, it's an investment, man. I mean, it could take off. I mean, look at Image. I mean, Image is kind of independent, and it's what's cool about Image, if you get on with them, it's user created, user ownership. You own the material, so it's not like Marvel.
Yeah.
They'll be like,
Marvel.
We like this character, but we're gonna make it a female now. And this guy was black, but
my ass, you are. Yeah.
Well, I'm just fuck all that shit. I mean, it's like
like I'm making shit about aliens, but still, man, you could just you can make it where they have to look more black, or they have to look more white, or you have to have a coalition, or.
I think writing goes for me. Also, I'm glad you brought that chapter up. You guys this conversation, but I like this. I like the direction you guys going with this, because writing goes into this point too. All right, this is how I generally feel about writing in general. To me, I enjoy having that creative freedom, being able to do it, create what I want to create, write what I want to talk about, and not be pigeonholed by social warriors, politics, diversity, feminism, whatever. It feels good when you guys are creating, when you guys are writing, creating, whatever, drawing, whatever. Does it feel good? Sit down, have a paper, whether you a drawer or not, or you just a writer and you just creating a character, and the characters happen to be black or whatever, and you just sit there and you write to focus on the character being a human being.
I get pumped, dude. When I get done with a page and it looks good, at least good to me, you know what I mean? I'm like, that's fucking. I'm like, I drew that. I'm like, that's fucking rad. I get pumped, dude, man, when I create things. It's awesome.
I mean, so I'm trying to say, what's do you think that because I mean with the big publishers like Marvel and DC, they kind of they under umbrella one of Disney is Marvel's under the umbrella of Disney, and then you got Warner Brothers, then you have DC under the Warner Brothers. Do you think that these big time, and this is a question for just for major time people who read comic books, people who don't read comic books, do you think that these publisher companies do you think that Marvel DC should let the creators create the characters they want to create and have them do stuff they want to do, stuff they want to do, instead of actually on a policy where they go on the PC route? Because this is a good conversation I like having with you guys. This is really
they could, but they won't, because they've been bought and paid for a long time ago. But I will say there's no reason why it couldn't take off, because there are a lot of people out there that love Marvel, love DC. I know there's a whole Marvel versus DC quality thing going on, and that's not really the topic of that. But it's still got a huge fandom, and to be involved in a thing like that is really going to pull people together. Prime example, this is one thing that made a lot of people mad, and it's not just I'm kind of going off on video games just a little bit, but Mega Man Legends 3, they were supposed to be developing that in Japan, and they had all these people submit artwork and character ideas and this, that, and the other thing, and it was like the biggest thing that any video game creator, anything had ever saw. I mean, they had so much of a influx of ideas and support and this and that, and then they pulled the plug on it.
Wow.
And a lot of us have been pissed because it was 10 years since the last one when we got word that there was going to be a new game, and then a year later, oh, sorry, the main creator of the game pretty much left Capcom. And it's like, well, sorry, we ain't gonna do it.
Waiting for frickin' Half-Life
3
for fucking 15 years, 10 years or something.
And they might as well make Portal 3 and Team Fortress 3. They might as well go with the whole, Valve, we can count the 3-pack.
I know, I like Valve, man. I don't know what happened.
David has a big problem with threes. Big problem with threes.
Yeah.
That's the running joke, is they can't count the 3.
Yeah, no, they never do. They never go to 3. Hey, but yeah, what I think about, I think the big companies, everything you can see on TV and most media, print and television, is controlled by 6 corporations. So that is really small. So it's really coming down from one big fat guy with cigars is controlling everything you see. And he's putting on this bullshit to turn again men against women and women against men and divide with the so-called races and whatever and shit like that.
The rich, the poor, the able, the disabled.
So we're not. Well, the rich are to blame, but instead of fighting them, we're fighting each other. People, over other poor people over pay differences and stuff like that. So, that's the whole point of it. I think it's to divide us. And I think I'm glad to see like Sears making Nutjob, an anti-establishment character kicking ass. That's the type of shit we need.
I mean, and that's the point for me. Even though I hate Marvel comic books now because of the diversity, so just warrior bullshit. I fucking hate that shit. But I've been reading DC Rebirth, Wonder Woman, and Superman and Batman. I've been reading stuff like that, and I've been reading some mainstream stuff. But I've been cutting back on my mainstream stuff for comic books because to me, I feel like it's so fucking watered down nowadays. Where it's like I would hate to be the type of creator, and I even see it in movies where you got a director, they have a vision, but the studio saying, well, we got our money pumping to the shit, so you gotta fucking give us the movie we want to. It's like I look at what was it? I look at what's the movie called? I forgot what movie it was. I forgot. It's like comic book movies, right? You got a director. The director has a vision for it, but it still be like, well, so and so did so and so, so you gotta follow that direction. And it's like, dude, you hired a director to do the job. Like, let the director do his job. Like,
it's right here. Here's the new Exo Manowar, by the way. I just got it the other day. It's fucking badass. And
it's like my point is, like, the point I was trying to make. The point I was trying to make is like I feel like a lot of times big corporations like. I want to write for them, for me, because I want Marvel to do well because I think sometimes DC Rebirth is killing it right now. But I want Marvel to do good. But I feel like to me, because I've been so much of a creator. I love the creative control. I love being able to dictate and talk about what I want to talk about and not have some fucking stupid exec from Disney or somebody from Warner Brothers saying, "Yo, throw this," have a look like the character from the movie because the movie was selling right now, and what they don't realize, like without the comic books, and this is one thing I hate about comic book movies nowadays, and this is like one of the biggest point out to me, is that the movies nowadays drive the comic books when it's supposed to be the comics driving the movies. And I pointed that out to a point. I was like, writing, this is why I said this topic, writing, is so important, where nowadays, like, they don't even care. So it's like, I look at Avengers Infinity War, even though I'm very excited for Avengers Infinity War, and I think them connecting all the movies from the solo movies and putting it into that one big movie. My biggest fear after Infinity War, because this is to me, after the MCU, I'm gonna be done with the MCU after Black Panther, the Infinity War, because to me it's like, where can you go from that? Your comics are shit. You got a female Thor nobody gives a fuck about, and like, I'm a big Captain America fan. I love Captain America. I don't know too much of his lore, but my dad grew up a Captain America fan, and I remember
huge Captain America fan. Huge Captain America fan.
And what pissed me the fuck off when Marvel made him fucking agent of Hydra, where he
yeah, but I think they're gonna fix that shit because it was
they made him like pro UN too, like United Nations and all that bullshit, and fucking stupid, man. But
they did. I didn't know about that. I thought they made it where they went in time and made it where he was a Hydra agent, but they're gonna of course fix it. But
Bloodshot right here, Valiant.
I think
Bloodshot's coming out with a TV series, by the way. You guys should support that. Valiant, yeah.
Valiant.
But going back to the Captain America thing, I feel like making him an agent, making him like an agent of Hydra, and he runs Hydra. It's like, fam, you shitting on the two creators of his original creation, and that's my problem.
I know what you're talking about. My friend was pissed about it. Like, dude, I got a friend that just basically almost stopped buying most Marvel titles. All he gets anymore is like X-Men or something like that. I don't know, dude. Marvel's ruining everything.
Yeah,
it's
man.
like, I think it goes back to the writing. It goes back to this topic writing right here. It's like you're trying to appeal a bunch of idiots. Like when Captain America became evil in Secret Wars, and then even people, there's like comic book channels on YouTube I watch, they know the source material. They respect the source material. And it was like, well, Secret Wars ain't that bad. I'm like, you shit on the legacy of Captain America, bro. I would hate to sell Black Arrow to fucking Marvel, and Marvel be like, well,
you can see old art of Captain America beating the fucking police up, man. Are you kidding me? Like, Captain used to be total badass patriot, man.
yeah. What? That happened in a recent issue?
No, like the older art, like if you go back to some of the old school art, I don't know, maybe they are redeeming Cap now. I haven't picked them up in a while, but if you go back to like some of the old John Byrne and shit like that, like back in the old days, I know for a fact there were issues where he fought the police.
Yeah, and it's like even my point to me, and this is what I'm talking about to me, why I kind of like this is why I say these big time. We need another company besides Marvel and DC to come on out and give Marvel and DC, give Marvel and DC some money, because run for their money and create better characters. To me, yeah, you need it, because I feel like Marvel. When I look at Marvel is brought out by Disney, a corporation that fucking caters to kids and shit, and they try to fucking try to make.
And ABC, man, ABC is another evil company.
Yep.
And it's like they don't realize that these people don't realize like you're appealing to a bunch of idiots. And that's why I say I'm part of this millennial generation. I'm part of the generation, but I fucking hate being part of the generation because we ruin every goddamn thing. I remember when Iron Fist came out, everybody know Danny Rand is white in the comic books. Danny Rand came out, a bunch of bitch ass people talking about is racist, cast a white guy. Well, they never read the fucking comic book, and they never read the damn comic book to understand. This motherfucker is an outsider learning martial arts from some Shaolin monks in Kulan, whatever. Like the problem I have with with society nowadays. It's like we letting the idiots who don't buy the comic books, and you got the people who buy the comic books.
No doubt, man, no doubt.
Yeah, and like you got the idiots. You got the people who buy the comic books saying that they'll stop changing shit around. I love Iron Man, dude. I love Iron Man in the movies. I love Iron Man as a character. And when they fucking made him a 15-year-old black girl, I was fucking pissed when they did that shit, dude. That shit.
Yeah, I liked Rhodes. He was all right. They didn't need to make him a black girl though. What the fuck, man? I'm
like, dude, and thinking her character fucking sucks. I read Ironheart. I read that issue. I'm like, this shit is trash, fam. What the fuck? Who poses this bullshit? Even fucking Black Panther, like the new Black Panther run, I think is a pro-black idiot writing that type of shit. And he got a fucking female. He got some fucking female. To me, I'm like, yo, you got T'Challa on the cover, fam. Fucking T'Challa, not the stupid bitch the stupid bitches in the damn issue. What the fuck is this shit? And it's like, that's my problem with, this is what it goes back to the topic of writing, is that I see it in mainstream comic books. This is why I hate when evil corporations buy comic book companies, man, because it goes more than just about artist driven. This is why I say I fuck with Image, I fuck with Dark Horse, I fuck with Valiant, I fuck with those companies, because those companies and those companies will never get pushed to the forefront because they ain't got a character. Like Image
they don't have an agenda. They're just like trying to make good comic books, basically.
Yeah. So it's like when you create characters, like it's like you can create a female character and not make her a feminist. You can be treated like you would treat any other a character out there. And the problem with like modern day comic books, and goes back to writing this topic, is that when you're trying to appeal to a mass audience, and that mass audience is saying, well, I want to have a 15-year-old black girl be Iron Man. And then nobody buy this shit, and then you got motherfuckers from the sales department saying nobody buying the comic books. Stop placating these dumbass idiots who don't buy the source material. It's the dumbest shit ever.
Well, they're not even gauging really the.
I'm gonna post. Here we go. I'm gonna post. Right here. Which one is this? Bart Sears. Here's Bart Sears' business card right here. Bart Sears, Ominous Studios, and here's his art director, fucking Andy Smith. Andy Smith's the art director. He's they're dude. I don't know, man. Bart Sears. All right, like I don't want to get off on a tangent, but I've gone to the conventions. I showed Neil Adams. You guys know who Neil Adams is? He did like Batman.
Yeah, I remember
Batman. Yeah.
Shit all over me, dude. That guy was so fucking. He basically told me I fucking sucked, man. He was he wouldn't even hardly look at it. He just like was like he like glanced at it, just like was like you can see I got the camera on. He just was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Handed it back to me. It was like, what you need to do, and he just fucking started shitting all over me. But Bart Sears loved my shit and gave me his fucking business card. So fuck you, Neil Adams.
No, you know, I was watching. I'm glad you brought this up too. I was watching the Batman and Bill. I think the Hulu documentary about how Bob Kane fucked over Bill Finger. And watching that shit stinged me the fuck up, fam. Watching that type of shit, I said that's why I don't want to fucking go. If I ever had a character, I got to that point, and you know, and I said, you know what, my characters get off the ground, and DC says, well, you know, No Filter will come to you and we'll give you, you know what I'm saying, you can publish your Black Arrow character with me. I tell them, fuck off, man. I don't want your help, man. I go broke fucking dealing with this
That's
character.
being real right there. If you could actually do that.
And DC, like what pissed me off with that whole situation was it took them how many years for Bill Finger to finally get fucking credit, and I didn't know this shit.
They fuck people over anyway. A lot of them companies. Yeah, I knew a Disney artist, and he was forever complaining about how fucking horrible Disney is.
I remember it was to create a Ghost Rider. I think they had Ghost Rider on Agents of Shield season this past season 4 Agents of Shield, and he was talking about how he never got compensated for the shit, and there was like these like ABC shitting him on, Marvel fucking shitting on them, and they treat their creators like crap.
I don't know what it is. They don't have an eye for talent. It's like there's not talented people running the industry because this Disney dude. His Disney shit was rad, of course, because, you know, Disney hires all the best fucking artists that they can find. But he showed me the personal shit. Have you guys ever heard of Fafard and Mauser? It's like a fantasy characters. I think they're legends, but he did a whole bunch of concept art with ogres, with fucking clubs, and Fafard and Mauser. It's like a thief and a barbarian guy. And fucking it was ridiculous, dude. It was so fucking rad. I was like, dude, that's fucking rad. And he was like, no. I was like, they told you no? And he's like, yeah, they didn't want to do it. I'm like, that one experience fucking forever jaded me. Just that one experience I was like, if that dude showing me that art was getting turned down, I was like, then I might as well go fucking jump off a fucking bridge, basically.
And plus, I think these corporations, with these ABC, Disney, Warner Brothers, all these corporations, when they buy these comic book companies, what they don't realize, like, yeah, you can own nothing wrong, make the movies all you want to, but here's the thing, though, you can't take away. Here's the thing, comic books. I remember when my first Batman comic. I remember I had this first comic. I think this is way back in the day. I remember I was born in '88. My dad brought me. It was the first issue of the Batman when the comics, issue number 27. I actually got the fucking canvases hanging on my wall too. The comic issue number 27 when he makes the first appearance as the Batman. When he had the purple gloves and shit, and he had he was strangling the mugger with the rope and shit. The cover and shit. My dad brought me that fucking thing. I know I lost it when we had to move out the house when I was like when I was 16. And I remember buying that comic book and literally fucking being glued to the shit like, this shit is so fucking amazing. And I said some real shit the other day. My father told me, he said, son, enjoy it now. When these corporations start buying these companies out, like when fucking Marvel, when Disney brought out Marvel and Warner Brothers brought DC back in the day, I was like, yeah, a lot of these comic books gonna be fucking shit, bro. Like, I look at fucking Thor now, a fucking female. I'm like, you got Captain Marvel now. Like, I mean, my thing is like, to me, I can't even enjoy shit no more because like nowadays these corporations trying to appeal to these idiots. Like I said before, they're trying to appeal to people who don't buy the comic books. It's like when the Wonder Woman movie came out, these females say, yeah, I support Wonder Woman. But if you look at like 95% of the people who read Wonder Woman, it was her fan base. I probably said 95% and 95% of the guys actually is a Wonder Woman fan. Half of them never heard of Wonder Woman until the fucking movie came out, and now they're like, oh, I love Wonder Woman. But if you ask them where they come from, where she come from, it was like, oh, I can't tell you that type of shit. I'm like, Wonder no, like
they only ever bust dime store hoods, basically.
Yeah. So it's like my point is, my point I was trying to make is like I think society don't understand these corporations. That's why I say I support Image and Dark Horse and Bear. I hope they don't get brought up no time soon because to me, dude, I love companies that just let the creators create their own shit and they actually get to own the content. Because after watching that shit with fucking DC fucking over Bill Finger, I was like, fuck no, I would never sell my no creations to DC. Even if they offered me some money, it was like, well, come join us. I'm like, no, fuck you. I write for your characters, but I ain't telling you my son and you my characters. Fuck no.
Right? They'll take your characters from you though. Like, you know, you hear about no, we're talking about now how these artists come up with like Wolverine. The guy that created Wolverine got paid basically nothing, you know what I mean? And look how much money fucking Marvel's made off of Wolverine.
Damn, that's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I mean,
yeah, it happens all the time. That's why you're best off taking full control. But you got to find people that want to get shit done, man. And that's hard to do too. That's like, you know, I do give these comic book companies credit, you know, or I do kind of empathize with them on one fact is that, you know, they've got millions and millions of people that, you know, want to do comics that can't even get off the fucking couch, you know what I mean, or something. I don't know, whatever. But like, but you know, the people that are hardcore want to do comics and want to get it done. You know, like in my town, like I'll be like, oh, you like comics? Yeah, I like comics. I don't even hang around with anybody anymore because of this shit. It's like I got PTSD over this shit. But it's like, you know, fucking every other oh yeah, comic books are fucking cool. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you want to do them together? Yeah, let's do comics. Yeah, and then it's like I do the comic, and they do nothing, and then I'm just like, well, you know, whatever, and they never even come over, and then I never see them again. It's like, okay, whatever. It's like you didn't want to do comics, you just wanted to talk about doing fucking comics for 5 minutes, you fucking idiot, you know.
And for me, it's going back to what you were saying before to me, because my friends, they on that pro black content shit. They talk about creating black characters. And when I get with them guys, it was like, man, I sit down with them. I bring my laptop with me. I bring my book bag, my laptop, my notepad, all my genuine ideas. I don't tell them about everything I do because they'll probably steal that shit and try to run with it. But like, I try to bounce with them, help them. And I'm like, dudes, like, I think this would be a good idea. You put that character. And I have a friend of mine. He created a pro black character. He's he's anti-white supremacy. He hate white people. And I read this issue. I said, man, you know what? I think you need to draw back on the race issues a little bit. Focus on because he's the type of guy where he wear the dashikis and African medallions and all that shit like that. And I was sitting him down. I was talking to him like, dude, you need to understand, like, you trying to placate to an audience, man. You got to appeal to everybody. Like Stuart said, I'm a black man in America, but I create white women, Asian women, Dominican, whatever race the female is, I create different races of women because you know what? You got to do that. If you want to make it in this industry, if you want to,
yeah, you're not going to create in a vacuum unless you think you're gonna make money selling comic books in your own little hood, your own little neighborhood where everybody's like you.
And you will go fucking broke.
You're not gonna do that, so.
And you're gonna go broke trying to placate to one audience. Like for me, yeah. And I was telling him, I said, dude, like, you know how many fucking creators right now? I sit them down, and I'm like, these dudes, like, I ask them all the time, like, do you write things down? Like, you come into idea, you out in the public, you looking at a billboard, a random name may pop up, and like, do you write the idea down?
Be able to hop out at any fair or any festival or any comic convention, unload your shit, and sell fucking comics, basically. Like,
dude, it's like you got to understand, being a creator, writing is more than just writing the content. You gotta once a creator, you're creating. You're always creating the content. Sis, I'll ask you a question. Sis, I'll ask you a question. Like, for you in your town you live in, like, do your town embrace comics?
Well, I kind of live out in the sticks where I live at. I work in a college town, so that kind of tells you what all's going on there. I haven't met many people who are really into video games and comics like me. It's I'm not saying it's not a thing in the South, but it's not a big thing. I mean, some people are like, oh yeah, I know about it and this and that, but then it's just, too many people around here are too worried about relationships with their wives.
If they're gonna get I know what you're talking about. That's like kind of dude, all the comic stores, the last comic store went out of business in my town like a year ago. So to get that, just as an example, to get that Exo Manowar, I had to drive 45 minutes to fucking Northampton, Massachusetts, which is gay fucking central. It's where Smith It's where Smith College is. If you've heard of Smith College, it's like lesbian central of the fucking world or something. But yeah.
See, if I believe if I wanted to get anything substantial like that, I would probably have to make the trip to Richmond.
Yeah.
And even then, depending on how far in you go, I mean, there's an area in Richmond by the Fan District called Carytown, and this place is. If you ever wondered what it was like to see a guy riding a unicycle and walking a zebra, this would be the place you'd probably see it.
Right.
But I mean, they have like so many. Like there's this toy store that's got all these weird shit in it called World of Mirth, and there's a vape shop and an art shop and several little pizza places and eateries. There's a little store where a little Japanese lady sells Japanese snacks and candies and food. I mean, it's just
college kids do role playing and fucking read comics and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know they do. They do that, but it's like where I'm at. This
not able to have that there probably.
Where I'm at specifically is a very, very red area. You have to either go to the college town or toward Richmond in order to start getting into blue territory. Like left and right, politics. It's a very right-wing area here.
Right. I got you.
Yeah.
Red and blue.
And actually, the messed up part about the college town I work in is that there's two colleges, one in it and one right on the outside of it. So it's like double whammy. Luckily, it's pretty dead now this time of year. Everybody's done picked up and left.
Yeah, I'm in Hickville too, basically. I'm basically where like Appalachia folk are from. So when I go,
I've lived and grown up there.
Yeah, when you go towards like I was saying, Northampton and Amherst, it gets more yuppie-ish, and people will talk to you until they're like, so where are you from? And you're like, Pittsfield, and then they're just like, yeah, oh, okay, yeah, see you, gotta go. They fucking hate us. They won't even talk to us, dude. It's hilarious, man.
I've got to go at least 50 miles in one direction or 75 in another to really get to anything, closer to being. I mean, like I said, the only yuppie blue pill millennial oasis is the town that I work in, not too far from me. But other than that, if you want to go anywhere to get anything substantial like that, comics or even to see like conventions and stuff like that, you either got to go 75 miles one way or 50 another.
Yep. Sounds like here I have to go to either like Albany or fucking Northampton, Springfield area.
Yeah. Yeah, no, with me it's either.
I owned a comic shop, and god damn it, man, it would have been cool, but man, the two kids that I opened it up with were friends, and I was kind of the outsider, and they started to try to muscle me. Here's a real good story. So when I was 18, this guy owned Berkshire Comics or something like that down on North Street, Main Street, our Main Street, and his wife got cancer, and they didn't have insurance, so he sold his store. He had to sell his store, so he sold it to one of my quote friends who turned out to be a fucking piece of garbage. JC. He was like all-American wrestler team guy, but he liked comics and role playing for some reason. And I'm more edgy punk rock guy. So anyway, him and his friend Derek, they were both like kind of yuppie, a little more high scale than my family. They started saying, well, you're going to college and you're not here a lot of the time. So we think that me and my friend should take most of the shares. And I was like, wait a minute. When you guys wanted to open the store, you didn't have credit. I told you I had credit, and this was the agreement that it was 60, or it was it was like what was it? We had it like 60, 20, 20 or something, or 40. Or, you know what I mean? We divided it some way so that JC, who was running it most of the time, got the bigger share, and then me and his friends split the 40 that was left, I think. But they started trying to get together even and trying to get me to go down to 10%. And I was like, and I was like, And I wasn't happy with that, and so I was like, no, I'll sell you my money back. You guys have fun with this shit. I'll sell you my share back. I want my, I want my original. I just want to pay off the balance of the little loan that we got, and get myself out. I want to pay off the balance of my loan, that part of the loan, and go to the bank and redo it and get out of the loan and just get out of this altogether. And they're like, yeah, okay. But then they wouldn't give me a check, and then they gave us a check and it bounced. This had to do with that Disney artist guy who left town too.
Yeah.
So my friend that I'm always talking about, that's always bopping people on their fucking head, went down there, and he went in the store, and he's like put his fist down on the table, and he was like, pay Stuart his fucking money. He goes, this ain't no fucking comic book, motherfuckers. And they were like, ooh, and they wrote him a check right there, and I cashed it immediately, and it went through, and everything was fine, and I got out of that. And that motherfucker ran that comic book store into the ground, and it doesn't exist anymore. So I'm glad I got out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, and I'm glad you brought this story up, because this is the thing about, I talk about, to me, maybe my mindset, to me, I don't have the money for it, but I want to do my own company, man. I want to do my own shit. And it may sound crazy to me, because I think that people say, I mean, yeah, it don't take much to own a comic book company, but you need some money for that type of shit, especially publishing, copyrights.
Oh yeah.
You need money for it. But I feel like when I tell people all the time, like, for me, I enjoy my creative freedom, my creative liberties. I enjoy being able to create
You got web design skills, because like I
have mild web design skills. I can do a lot of front end stuff.
We could start with like e-comics, because that's all digital and shit like that. And that way we won't have to have a lot of materials. I have plenty of fucking drawing materials and shit.
I have an associate in web design.
Yeah, I think when you create characters, man, it's like for me, dude, you guys don't know. Like, when I'm not doing live streams, whatever, I'm not doing streams with SFM or whatever. Like, I am creating all the damn time, bro. Like, I can just be. Yeah, I'm always creating. I'm always writing. I'm always trying to figure out what can I do to better myself as a human being. And I talk about this. Stuart tell you, man, to do it with, to be a creator or creator of anything, especially a comic book character, that takes dedication for your ass, man. You gotta be dedicated to it. I see so many of my friends tell me all the time, I want to create characters. I ask them, do you sit, like, when you have an idea, do you write it down? No. Or when you on the web, when you surf the internet, I watch YouTube videos. I don't just watch mental content. I watch comic book content. I watch how to write, how to draw videos. I watch a lot of things related to my industry, the industry I want to be in. I
watch a ton of like how to. I'm always trying to watch. I'm watching Jim Lee. All my favorite artists, dude, man.
Yeah, copyright law.
Who wrote X-Men? Was it Chris Claremont? Chris Claremont wrote X-Men back when Jim Lee.
Man.
That dude was a hot dude. That was like one of the best Marvel writers, ever. Was fucking Chris Claremont, man.
Yeah, like copyright laws. How does it work with publishing and royalties? And, like, there's a lot of things you got to go into. It's not just about creating and writing and drawing.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know the business side of the game. You got to be very in tune with it. Like, you gotta make sure the rights don't, make sure the copyright rights don't be outdated. You gotta constantly update those things. Like, you gotta understand, like, educating yourself on whatever it is.
Like, how do you handle all that? Like, everybody pretty much kind of got to like copyright their own characters or something like that.
And it's like, I didn't know this. If you copyright a character, you gotta, I think, every 2 years, you gotta constantly renew the copyright rights for the characters. Like, I didn't know this too, because
it costs about $300, I think, altogether. You just publish it with like the Library of Congress down, and you like make out an application. I've seen the application. I think I printed it off because I was gonna publish. I was gonna actually do some get some character rights done. But I published nutjob on DeviantArt, because I've heard from friends that DeviantArt pretty much takes care of all that for you. Like, if you publish something on DeviantArt for the first time, it's already all copyrighted. Like, they, and recorded and backed up and everything. So
yeah, I need to make a DeviantArt account for my comic, actually.
Yeah.
See, I did.
I've been thinking about I think because I'm on DeviantArt all the time. I have like a lot of DeviantArt of other people stuff. I look at it and I save it on my main laptop in the home computer because I always kind of like I get ideas from it. So I kind of just draw. I don't like still the idea, still the portrait. I get idea from like what I want, how the character could look. But like, yeah, I need to do a DVR thing on mine because I know for me, I'm getting past the creative part. I'm really just need to take the proper steps now because like the copyright and stuff like that. That's like I brought this book about copyright. I forgot the name of the book from eBay. It was like $3.50, and it was like in good condition. It was like good condition, and I brought it and I was just reading laws like copyright laws, how they work, infringements. I was you got and this is very man. When you get into a comic book industry, dude, it's so many things you gotta learn, man. It's tricky as hell.
See, I did something. It was about 2010 for through LegalZoom, and I sent them basically my rough draft idea and what script I had done, and like a few character bios and stuff. It cost me like $130 or something, but I pretty much got that copyrighted. That's been a while, but the way they explained it to me was that it lasts so many years after the artist's death, which I've got to find those papers again anyway and see and reread all that. But yeah, when I knew I was getting somewhere with it, I had that stuff copyrighted.
Yeah. So you got to get to that point, and that's what I'm trying to say. When you also be careful, it's Stuart to tell you, you can't tell everybody about. I trust you guys because you guys got your own ideas, but like you can't tell everybody about your idea, bro. I had a friend of mine. He actually had a dope ass character. He had a very dope character. He was like a vigilante too, very dope character. He was like Batman, but he was more dark and twisted, sadistic. He killed, and I can't say the character name, whatever, because somebody else stole it. But man, he said he told a friend about that shit because his friend was in the same industry he was in. He ran with that shit, took it, and motherfucking stole the idea. I forgot the character name, but he was fucking heated when he fucking friend did that shit. So you gotta be careful, man.
Yeah, don't tell nobody your character's name and the premise about anyone you don't trust. You know, before you get it copywritten, you gotta get that shit. Pay a $30 fee and get it copywritten.
Dude, pay that shit, bro. Cause like I'll talk about recent. I have $800 saved up in my little extra money thing, in my little envelope. I have like $800 set aside for it. But like next month, I'm probably get my first character copyrighted. I'm gonna go for LegalZoom because I know LegalZoom is pretty good with the very avoidable with copyrights and stuff like that. So I'm gonna get in touch with them and get one of my characters copyrighted. And once I get my first character copyrighted, then that's when I'm able to tell the story. But the thing about that renew thing is also renewing the copyright laws, like staying educated. Make sure. Remember the date I talked about this? It was a video I was watching about copyrights. I want to do an episode about that copyright infringement laws and copyrights because I think that this series is a dope series. You guys stay in tune for it. It is a real good series, and it's like for me, I have to educate myself on copyright laws. I know about the creating rights laws, things.
Well, here's the deal that I've heard. Like, I just want to throw. Speaking of writing and copywriting, I guess if we're on that topic, like. I've heard some people say the best form of copywriting is just generating as much material as you possibly can and documenting it as best you can because there's no real silver bullet for copyright. And this is why they said why. This is a guy that worked in the business for Disney and all these different things. I watched a tutorial. I'll try to give you the link. But he said that never in his career ever had he seen any major company like Disney or Marvel or any company like that ever try to steal somebody's idea. He's seen them change their idea and do something different, a little different, but not outright take somebody's idea. And if they do that, there's really nothing you can do about it. And then he said also, if you go to the Library of Congress and pay the $300 and get your characters copyrighted here in America, that only protects you in America. So if somebody in Taiwan, because everything's international now, sees uploads of your comic book on the internet and they decide to rip you off and start doing a comic book like yours over in Taiwan, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get on a plane and go over to Taiwan and take that person to court in Taiwan? And usually poor people, the only people that ever try to rip off other people are poor people that can't come up with their own ideas. And he said you don't have to worry about poor people that try to rip you off because they never can go anywhere anyway because they don't have any money and they're poor and they can't come up with any ideas and they're broke. So you don't have to worry about that either. That's what I've heard about copywriting. That's all I know about copywriting. So.
I think for me, that's what I'm saying. I write my documents down. If I have an idea, character name, I write that junk down. I say, you know what? If somebody gonna steal this idea,
You'll have more material than them, and it'll be older. And any judge with half a fucking brain will be like, "Hey, you're ripping this guy off."
Yeah, that's what I've also heard people say too, and you know, it's one way, I guess, of proving. But I've heard a lot of people say, make copies of some of the physical stuff you've got, put them in an envelope, and mail it to yourself.
Yeah.
Put this envelope up somewhere and never open it.
Yep.
That way, if it all comes back to, oh, you stole this or you're trying to defend, here's the envelope, sir. Look, it's got the postmark on it. It's still sealed. And then they can open it up, take a look at it and go, well, everything seems all right here. You know, there's enough proof for me that you've been writing this 6-8 years ago. You know.
Yep.
They call it the poor man's copyright.
Yes,
but that's one. I don't know how legally binding, but that's one way of going about doing it.
Always depend on the judge and how much money. That if somebody big time is going to rip you off, you're not going to do shit about it. What are you going to do about it? You're not going to do fucking nothing about it. You're going to get ripped off. You're going to fucking get ripped off, and
or at best they may try to settle out of court.
Or settle out of court.
At best.
Right, at best. And that's good. That's good though, as long as you fucking get something.
Something.
I mean, but you got
if they're so look, I'm so creative, dude. People have taken shit, or I've come up with shit that by chance somebody came out with later. So I'm not the best creator, but I'm creative enough to be confident that if something goes wrong, I can create something else.
But you know, I also want to say this for you creators out there. Some of the best advice I really get. It just constantly create brand new characters, man. Do it, man. And that's the reason why I say if somebody does to my idea, I would be bummed out about it. I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh yeah, it's why I steal my shit. I'm just gonna fucking roll with it." No, I'm really upset about that shit.
Yeah.
If somebody did, I create so many characters, bro. I lost count. I create so many characters, and I'm saying that always create. I tell people all the time. I'm gonna go to the first episode we did with creating. Always create. Write your ideas down. Come up with names. It could be the most dumbest name in the character, but if you like I said before, this issue talking about writing, if you can write it in a way to make it seem so goddamn cool that they'll just ignore the name and be like, damn, that was a damn good issue. Damn, that was a damn good novel. So the question is saying that we have to understand, always create, always reinvent yourself, find ways to do things outside. To me, I always talk about a lot of my stuff, none of my stuff is copyrighted. But to me, I don't tell everybody my idea because I know I'm a creative genius, and to me, I can create on the fly. So for me, it's always been about.
So you're confident. You're confident that because you've been doing it, man. Or you can do it.
I'm just a lot of times I find I'm at a lack for inspiration and concentration. I really wish I could actually get down to doing it, because once it does start flowing, I'll lose hours of sleep just sitting there. I don't want to go to bed yet. I'm writing it.
Anime. I'll watch some anime. Like I'll watch Ninja Scroll or fucking Ninja Scroll's in my opinion just like one of the best fucking animes ever. But or I'll something
as well.
Ninja Scroll.
No, Berserk. Do you watch Berserk too?
Oh, Berserk's awesome too. Yeah, no, Berserk's awesome too. Stuff like that. I just watched something. I just watched something that reminds me a little bit of what you were talking about. Since I knew on Netflix called Blame. Have you seen Blame yet? Anybody?
No. Blame like BLAME.
Yeah,
okay.
It's like post-apocalyptic future after the whole world was run by computers and everybody had a gene spliced into them that allowed them to command the computers to do what they wanted. But basically what happened is somebody, yeah, like something or some kind of, you know, something went wrong where the computer started like attacking everybody and like and destroying everything, and like all the humans got killed pretty much. And this, and except for like this, you know, well, it starts out with this one little clan of humans living in this one area in the super. It's like they live in an infinite city, and the computer just keeps building the city. And at one point, it was like, humans are in the way. Let's get them out of here. So it started killing all the humans, and they went, and so this one clan lives like underground. And this one area that got walled off when a scientist was trying to create another like inlet to the computer, like a backdoor or something, and like you know, basically re-get control of the computer so that it was under humans' controls again. But it didn't work, but at least the area was sealed off, and these people found it and they lived there. But they have to go forage outside in the city, and it's pretty fucking crazy. And when they go outside this area that's like protected, that's sealed off, like they basically, it's wicked dangerous because they get hunted down by all these things that the computer, all these mechanisms the computer has to fucking protect itself. It's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, I just looked it up, and it looks pretty cool. Nice, cool little anime there.
Also,
Yeah.
Netflix
talking about copyright infringements too, because I'm pretty sure I'm probably doing an episode about it, but just give more detail about it. One thing I looked about writing and creating, just in this whole series. One thing I hear so many people say when they try to create a brand new character, and I just gave up on it because a long time ago, it's always gonna find. If you read a character enough, like I read so much Batman, dude. A lot of my characters have some Batman similarities. It may not, like, I don't go all the way like, oh yeah, this character does this. They like, most of them are billionaires because I read a lot of Batman, so it's gonna run into that type of thing. But what guys don't realize that is nothing wrong. Here's the thing: if you was inspired by a character, like Batman's my favorite superhero of all time, dude. I got Batman bed sheet. I got a Batman bed sheets. I got Batman everything. Batman action figures on my wall and stuff. So I love Batman. Batman's my favorite character. You can tell by my thumbnail, he's my favorite character. He's my favorite superhero of all time. He's the greatest superhero in my opinion, because I grew up on Batman. That's when I relate to the most. But I think when it comes to this idea with the originality, or being original, have original idea. There's no such thing as original idea. If y'all don't know, Batman was actually the original idea of Master of Zorro. Nobody knew that, but Bob Kane said that. You know, Bob Kane said that. Like, yeah, he was actually an original creation of Zorro. So I'm saying is that there's no such thing as original idea. You know, like you take what your inspiration you draw from your
like nutjob. If you really want to look at it, nutjob is like Johnny was saying, it's like Iron Man out of the junkyard, basically. Yeah, it's just me redeveloping. He's really kind of a cross between, I don't know, like Punisher and fucking Iron Man or something like that, or some, you know. But he is my own character at the same time. You know, he's got his own fucking. He's got his own background, his own origin, and all that.
But I'll ask you guys a question. This goes back to the first episode and this episode right here. What's more important? Do you think creating or writing is more important? This is a very important topic.
God, man, that's a hard question, bro. Creating
or writing? Do you think which one's more important? Do you think
I'm going with creating, I guess? Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, I'm trying to think of like what context you're putting. Like, you mean just coming up with ideas as opposed to fleshing them out?
Yeah, you're coming up with ideas, just coming up with ideas rather than just fleshing them out.
Say you had somebody who came up with really good ideas, but the writer wasn't as good as the creator.
Somebody is your jumping off point. You mean, like,
yeah,
somebody will just say, you know, oh, cheese sandwich man, and you're like, got you, cheese sandwich man. You know, from here did this, parents this.
A lot of the best comics are like drawn and written by the artist, though. Like Frank Miller, you were saying. I don't know. It seems like a lot of the best comics are done where some fucked up motherfucking artist that's just like dark and brooding has complete control over everything. And That's where you really seem to get like Sin City and shit like that by Frank Miller, and what did you, Dark Knight and all that stuff. Like they were at one, but Frank Miller just got so good to the point where they were just like, yeah, here, no, you can pretty much just take control of Batman. You know what I mean? Like, like
But do you feel? I won't say this question because this is literally coming from This is from a writer perspective, though. This is from me because I love the write. I love the challenge of writing. Do you think that writing? Do you think writing can fuck up a character? But like,
yeah, hell yeah.
I'll use this as a prime example, right? Because the first character I'm working on right now, while talking to you guys, I'm writing this issue while talking to you guys, which is I'm still amazed. I mean, we just do this two tasks at one time, two tasks in one, and the reason why I'm asking this question because I think this question needs to really be asked. The question is, here's the question I'm asking: is that you can have a dope character, dope idea, you can write it down, like man, that shit sound good, and then the first issue comes back, you write that first issue, second or whatever issue, and you're 5 issues in, and all them fucking suck. And you're writing, you think back to it. Can you think like, and say for instance, if I'll come up with a character, and the first 5 issues suck, and the readers are saying this is fucking terrible. Do you think a writer could come back? Do you think no matter how great the character is, even though when you first in your head you like, man, this character's dope, but you couldn't execute it, or the person you hired to write the comic book to write for your character was so fucking shitty to the point where he didn't care about dialogue or heart-to-heart moments. He just action, and no character build-up. Do you think that will hurt the character? And do you think if the first 5 issues?
Yeah, like at that point, you should probably just rebel against the writer and not even let it. Not even like. I think I've heard that writers. A lot of writers should just sort of step back and let the creators do their things. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm not saying the writers shouldn't have any control, but comic book artists are usually pretty, they have a good understanding of everything that's going on in comicdom, and like, so what I've heard is that writers shouldn't push artists too hard, basically, and they should just kind of give the artists the idea and then just let the artists roll with it, is what I've heard. But I don't know, because I know what you're saying.
I'm gonna use you as a prime example. I'm gonna use you as a prime example. All right. So what if me? I'm just saying, me and you, Stuart, we came together, became with a solo series, and say since I was a writer, right? I decided to write for a nutjob, right? And I'm a writer, I'm with experience, and say, I say, and say since I was a blue pill simp, and I'd be like, well, I don't like this because I think you should placate. You should give him a love interest. But you being the midtown, you being red pill, you may not mention it, you may not say it out loud in the conversation. You're like, well, I created him as a rebellion to rebel against the government, women, and society, and he realized society is fucked up and these things are just reality. Well, I think that's a dumb idea. And you like, well, I think to placate, if you want to get a mass audience, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm just putting the scenario here. Oh, I think you should do that because more people buy the comic book. But he was like, well, that was not intended for the character. Do you think the writer sometimes get in the way of the original vision of the character that the creator had intended for it? And that's why I'm having this conversation with writing. This dialogue is great. It's great dialogue to have because I think we really need to have these conversations from now on.
Yeah, I would want to work. See, you just had, or what my exact response to that would be like, I think we could show him trying to have relationships and then reflect and then use that as a way to reflect how fucking retarded bitches are,
as them not working out, or like in my case having one like in my case having one just chasing his ass everywhere, and he's like, no, fuck it, no, get away from me, no,
yeah, you could have different him going through different things, like he's got a crazy bitch chasing him, or he meets a girl. She seems like she's cool, but within like the first few issues, he's already telling her to fuck off.
That's how mine starts. He was pretty much like, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna give her a chance, and she was just draining him so bad. He wasn't getting any of his stuff done that he wanted to get done. Was losing sleep, was tired all the time, and he's like, coupled with that and just the way she gets me aggravated is I just got to tell her, like, I'm sorry, this ain't working out.
Yeah, and I think people and this was saying this conversations, the conversations to have that we need to have, because these situations are going to break down. I'm pretty sure when I'm writing for Marvel or DC, or if I decide to write for the characters, I'm like, well, I had a different vision for Batman. Well, I don't want Batman marrying Selena Kyle because I think that's dumb. Because recently actually happened in the comic book, that popped the question, and
that was so stupid.
Yeah, and I was saying to myself, well, I tell DC, well, I think that's a dumb idea. And let's have Batman come out the Flashpoint. Let's have him deal with the traumatic effect of meeting his father in the future during the Flashpoint Paradox timeline, where his father got erased from that time period, and have him doubt whether would have him take what his father said to him at heart, and he tries to live a normal life, but he can't live a normal life because he's Batman, and he made a vow at his parents to avenge his parents' death to make sure no other person goes through what he went through. Like, that's how we'll approach it. And they were like, well, that don't sell. And I'm like, well, it shouldn't matter whether it sells or not. It should be about the story. It should be about character development. And that's what I'm talking about with this main topic.
Max of the Phantasm into that. Have you ever seen Max of the Phantasm?
I've heard of it, but no, I hadn't seen the.
I mean, it goes back to what I'm saying with character development. It's like one thing that is two things missing in comic books nowadays. Stuart, you can agree with me, and y'all guys can agree with me. It's two words: character development, whether it's male or female. Nowadays, it's about appealing to the social justice warriors, and it's cool. It's cool to have a character, male or female. There's nothing wrong with that. But here's the thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm going for Valiant. Like, you can already see that Man of War starting off great. He's missing an arm. He's basically missing his left arm. He's trying to retire on this like alien fucking planet, and he's in bed with this bitch, and they're talking back and forth, and then he gets like forced into fucking conflict. They basically just come and be like, hey, you're not one of us. You're poor, come with us, and they fucking throw him on the battlefield with a bunch of other slaves, and they just force him into battle, and he just kicks ass. He just fucking goes on the battlefield without his suit, without his armor, and he just fucking kicks fucking ass, and before long the commanders are like, hey, you know what I mean, come with us, so he's already working his way up the ranks, and then at the end of the first episode, like, he puts his arm, the armor comes back to him basically. But yeah, no, it's already starting off like wicked kick ass. You know what I mean?
I think, and that's my point I'm saying with this issue, this series, is about writing. Writing is more than just about telling a story. It's about growing with the character and having the character go through trials and tribulations. I have written issues with the characters. I spent the whole issue with them outside of the persona, running their Fortune 500 company. Like, I talk about, that's what I love about comic books. When you write them, like, I want people to grow with the character. Like, it's like if you going through some shit and you be like, damn, I can relate to this character. It's good to see a character has trials and tribulations, because if a character can win it all, this is the problem I have with like modern day female characters in movies nowadays. It's like Rey from fucking The Force Awakens. I call it The Feminist Awakens. Yeah, she's kind of like she's Mary Sue.
Me too.
Mary
I
Sue,
follow that
yeah.
shit too.
She can do it all. Like it took Luke 3 to 4 films to train to finally get fucking. Yeah, go ahead.
I know a simp in real life, dude. I know a simp in real life. He's mid-30s, white dude with glasses, right? But we meet him and talking. He knows a lot about guns and a lot about mechanic shit. But when he talks about movies and shit, he goes full simp mode. Especially if he starts drinking. We talk over the phone because we ain't hung out in person in a year, but we talk over the phone like once a week. And he was talking about, oh yeah, the new Star Wars movies the new two Star Wars movies are good. The prequels sucked. The classic Star Wars are good, and the new Star Wars are good. And I'm like, dude, that shit was like, the Rogue One was shitty, and like it was some feminist shit still, and the Feminist Awakens is some bullshit. He's like, well, he's trying to defend it, but the Sims can't not defend the shitty ass new movie. But what's his name? Dude was a simp and a retard. What the dude that played Finn? Yeah, the Black Stormtrooper Finn. Just a total klutz and a simp. Oh, what happened to Stuart left?
Oh, he said you gotta go.
Sucks, man. He's cool.
fucking the Force Awakens was nothing more than a rehashing of the first Star Wars movie. She pretty much was a stand-in
Exactly.
for Luke Skywalker. They were just trying to reboot the whole thing
With the sex-
for a new generation, but they pretty much put the story in fast forward just to try to now get
Yeah,
to,
exactly. And they made it.
you
She
know.
can fly the ship with no training.
Yeah.
She can fight with no training, and it's just like it's just shitty. I mean, they just crank that shit out,
That goes back to my point.
and
with,
it's not well done.
and that goes back to my point with this writing thing is that you can have a great character. To me, I feel like fucking Ray was an idea, not a character, because they really wanted to do it. Like they really wanted to people go character. Here's the thing: I would not have hated episode 7 because that feminist undertone. Like when fucking Finn tried to grab the girl's hand, it's like I don't need your fucking hand. I'm like, y'all really trying to get somebody. Y'all really trying. It'll piss me off with the type of shit. It's like, fam, I'm a comic book writer. I write heart-to-heart moments. I thrive in action. I can tell a good story. I can show a villain doing some despicable shit, but you still kind of sympathize with him a little bit because he has a deep backstory. Like, fam, I'm a writer, and this is some fucking. I see writing in movies, and writing in comic books. I'm like, damn, I can write a better story than this, and I ain't that experienced. And I know with some shitty writing, and that's what I'm talking about with character development, and that's what's missing with female characters nowadays. Because women want a female character, these feminists, these fucking women out here talking about, I want a female character, I want a fucking female character, and what they don't fucking realize, like, fam, there's more sides to that character besides her being female. So you gotta be relatable. It's like, here's the thing. I know look, I don't like the fact that Wonder Woman was a fucking feminist. I always hated that in the back, even when she was a feminist icon. I hated that type of shit. But I love Wonder Woman as a character because she's a dope character, like depending on who's fucking writing her. But Wonder Woman, I love Wonder Woman as a character. And I think that to me, but like I love Wonder Woman in the new DC Rebirth because I think she's dope, and I've been reading her series, been loving her series on DC Rebirth. But when I tell people all the time, like, I can't get into Marvel comic books because they on that social justice warrior bullshit. They got a fucking Islamic Miss Marvel now, which her fucking powers fucking suck. She fucking stretch. What kind of fucking power is that shit? It's like dude, it's like overall, like my problems with comic books nowadays is like the fucking writing sucks. There's no development there, and like you can't relate to the characters because nobody wants to buy the shit. It's like, fam, I don't want to read a fucking comic book of social warrior bullshit content. Like, give me a character I can fucking relate to. I wouldn't hate these new characters if they actually had some great backstories. Oh, let's create a black character so black hosts can shit about diversity in comic books. No, that's a wrong way to look at shit, because what you end up doing is you alienate the fan base that want to buy the comic books. And I was like, well, why the fuck should I have to fucking buy it if the fucking ain't no fucking sense here.
What was like that dumbass game I was playing the other day that I streamed? I had to delete it because apparently one or two of the songs in it didn't get struck, but it did get flagged, and I'm just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm taking it down. But
I saw that game you playing, man. That game fucking ass.
No, the one at the end was a palate cleanser. The Stanley Parable was supposed to be funny, and it had its moments and everything. But that Gone Home, I mean, oh my god,
this shit was terrible. But I'm watching you playing. I was leaving comments in the section, and the dude was like, he talking about go left, and you went right. You were fucking with him. I was like, that shit was funny as fuck.
Oh, the Stanley Parable, that shit was funny.
That shit was funny as fuck. I was like, man, this is a dope ass game. I love the comment. Like,
I'm thinking about setting up a stream maybe later on, a couple days, maybe this weekend, and actually playing through that one with all the different endings and stuff. Because there's 15, 20 different like endings where you go different places, do different things. Like, if I'd have went left instead of right, or I'd have followed his directions after the first time, or stuff like that. There was a whole bunch of, I could have jumped off that sky lift that that platform that took me over. I could have jumped off that and been done with it. All kinds of shit.
Dude, that nigga was getting mad the whole goddamn game, man.
Yeah, he was.
You fucked the story up. That shit was the most funniest shit ever, man. I was laughing my whole entire time watching that shit. I was like, man, this dude mid-time even playing video games. It's like, goddamn. It's like, fuck yo. It's like, fuck your story. Don't do the fuck I want.
Yep. Oh no! Well, he stopped referring to me as Stanley because he knew it wasn't Stanley anymore. Like you're not Stanley. The Stanley would have this. The Stanley, you're not Stanley. And it ended with basically him being back in the room where he had to pick one door or the other, and I'm actually like clipped on top of the ceiling, looking down at Stanley, and then it fades out, and then it cycles back to the office where you try it again.
That shit was fucking funny as hell. You was pissed the whole goddamn story, man. He's like, all you gotta do is speak in box into the code. You gotta continue the story. You just sitting there moving around. I
didn't have the code, and there was no way to put the code in. There was nothing.
Man, that shit was the most funniest shit ever. That shit had me rolling like a motherfucker. I never thought a million years outside the game. I'm like, I gotta play a game for myself, fam. That game.
What game is that?
The Stanley Parable.
Okay, Stanley Parable. I looked that shit up.
Man,
it was based off the Havoc and Half-Life 2 engine. It's not really a game. I mean, it's a choose your own adventure type deal. But the thing is, I did that as a palate cleanser from the other one I did, the Gone Home game, that feminist fucking piece of shit. Basically, I'll save you 2.5 hours. The chick comes home from Europe after a year of whoring around. Mom and dad are gone. The younger sister is gone. Come to find out, younger sister's been having a lesbian tryst with this other chick she met at school. Mom's a forest ranger fucking around on dad. Dad's a defunct kind of failing writer, this, that, and the other thing. And basically, at the end of it all, the girls steal about everything that ain't nailed down, including VCRs and food. And they leave and take off, fuck school, fuck their dreams. They just ran off to be with one another.
The fuck is that type of that's a fucked up horrible ending.
I'm sitting there the whole time going, come on, at least like say somebody got into an accident. I want to see a body hanging from the ceiling, something. No, because they built it up with all the thunder and the mystery, and then they brought the paranormal into it, like they were trying to summon ghosts and spirits. Like, oh, okay, so a portal opened up and swallowed them. Yeah. Like, nope.
Who made the game though? Who made the game?
StarBrite Studios.
Oh,
was what it was called. StarBrite Studios.
And it's a feminist studio though. And a feminist studio.
I don't know. That's the first time I've ever heard anything from them. And all right, first of all, I agree that this, if you want to call it a game, has a right to exist. Everything has a right to exist. Put it out there. But some of the people want to, that are defending it, going, oh, no, it did not have an agenda. It didn't have an agenda. Yes, it certainly did. I mean, if you go far enough in the house, you can see where the girls were making like this zine, this little magazine thing about kick the patriarchy and girls rule and this, that, and the other thing.
Oh, my fucking God, man.
No. One of them photocopied the front page of a comic book and then cut it out and like made that her cover for the zine. When I found that, I'm like, this bitch just plagiarized everything. Like, she didn't even draw this shit herself. Like, what the fuck?
That's fucked
up. I will say some of the interaction between the two girl characters, the notes that are left around the house that you pick up, some of it was kind of, funny and charming-ish, but just the execution and then the payoff was just, it was, steal the VCRs in the house and all this shit and then just leave, The younger sister still had a year of high school left, was supposed to be going to college. The older girl was in ROTC and was supposed to go off to base camp and shit. And they just threw everything away, got in the girl's car, and she said, we're going to go wherever and be with each other.
Damn, what the fuck? Damn.
And I'm like, yeah, if you want to have that relationship, do what you do, but, take care of your life. I mean, the one girl spent all that time in JROTC. She'd been building up to that. The other girl wanted to try to find something, like I said, but it was no more than just like a, male-female eloping story. I mean, it was nothing but just raw, pure emotion. There was no logic in any of that shit whatsoever. And that's what pissed me off.
Was the main guy was a blue pill simp?
The father?
Yeah, was he a blue pill simp?
Yeah, he pretty much was. I mean, he married at an early age, had kids and everything, but see, he was a writer and everything. His big thing, see, they made the man out to be some big JFK conspiracy nut. drinking and carrying on. He there for a while. He did a stint where he wrote like review articles for hi-fi equipment and shit. And he was all right at first because his friend got him in, but then his quality was going downhill. You find out at the end that some like independent bookstore found some of his old books and was trying to write him to say, hey, we want to republish your old stuff. This is kind of quirky and interesting, and we got a whole market of people here that like to buy it. So in a way, he kind of started getting his reprieve. But see, his bitch of a wife was, worked as a forest ranger, was pretty much fucking around with, Ranger Rick, and I call Ranger Rick and his big dog Dick. Her friend from college and shit, right? Oh, you gotta tell me more about this hunky guy and this and that. Like the girls wrecked the fucking they wrecked her parents' bedroom before they left, and it didn't dawn on me till a little bit later. There was a condom in the man's bottom dresser drawer. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'll bet you those girls or whoever wrote this, because that condom just wasn't there on accident. These things are programmed. These games, experiences, whatever, they're programmed. I'll bet you they put that condom there to try to either the girls tried to make the mom think he was fucking around, or they wanted to try to make the viewer think that the man was fucking around. When there's all these notes and books left around and a schedule where all this shit was crossed off and different meetings and this and that, and it's like, man, what are these people trying to do? Who are they trying to fool?
You know what, man? Just listen to that fucking story. Just fucking one fucking drown in the pool of blood, man.
That's why after the end I said, fuck it, let's play the Stanley Parable. I want to do that in the next day or two. I'm gonna just stream the Stanley Parable.
That shit was funny though, man. That dude was pissed the fuck off.
He was.
That dude, I never seen, because I've seen people play them type of games before, and like the way you fucking did that story, that joke was funny as hell. We pissing that dude off, boy. It's like fucking press the fucking code, man. Move on with the goddamn story. He just moving around and shit.
I was actually trying. I was trying to click on it, and it wasn't giving anything for anything. But I think the code for it is in the boss's desk. But you got to go around it a certain way for you to even be able to open up the desk drawer to get the code, and you got to use the mouse and everything with the reticle or whatever to punch the code in or something. But
got pissed the fuck off, bro. That dude was pissed the fuck off. Oh, God damn. It was like, I'm like, dude, he's like, you trying to get the shit to work. Calm the fuck down, man. Like, God damn.
Well, see, I like when I went back through there, everything was all messed up, like the game glitched. Like there was a filing cabinet half in the wall and a door was upside down.
So speaking of video games, I had brought this game called Homefront Revolution. I don't know if y'all guys played that game. It's actually a pretty good game. It talks about like apocalypse, like China had came up with this tech, and the United States wanted to get involved, and they brought it. And what China did was they put a virus into the bug where they corrupted the military. They wiped out the military, and they end up taking over it takes like in Philadelphia 2029. And technically, I'm playing the main character. My main character is called Brady, and he asked like this guy. I'm part of like this refugee guy, and he's like this Islamic guy. I think he's probably like, I don't know what type of race he is. He's part of this terrorist group. They wouldn't call you a terrorist group, and you gotta fight. You have to fight this army. You have to fight an army of like these guys that took over the city of Philadelphia 2029. And like the only thing I don't like about that fucking game is like when you run out of ammo, like you kind of like you gotta like do like side missions, which I don't mind that shit. But like playing the game, the only thing I don't like about that game, it's like I hate the Division from what's the game? What's the Tom Clancy?
Yeah, I played that. I hate that.
The only thing I like about the only thing I don't think I can really say about the Division was this, man. That like if you ran out of ammo, they had an ammo crate to reload this shit. Like the game I played, Homefront Revolution, you run out of ammo, fam. Like you are fucking screwed. You gotta run around while motherfuckers shooting, stabbing you in the back and shit. I'm like, yo, and like there's a glitch in the game. There's a glitch in the game where like this part I kept dying, and I kind of eventually beat the part, and the guns in the air. I'm like, fam, this is a what? I don't know how much they made the game for. I'm like, fam, like this is a game right here. This game is a fucking high tech. Like, fam, there's a gun glitching in the fucking air. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? What the the game is good, but then they need to pack that shit up. Like, I don't understand the game developers, man. That's why I say I fucking hate gaming today, man. It's like these developers, they care more about DLC and bullshit and fucking you around instead of goddamn game. Like, dude, like if the game ain't halfway full, dog, don't release that shit. But you know, piss me off with this shit. I can't even get mad at the developers. Y'all get mad at the dumbass fans that buy that bullshit. Like when Destiny came out. When Destiny came out, Destiny was a half broken ass, was a broken game from the beginning when it came out. Oh well, you gotta buy the Taken King DLC to basically get the full game. Oh, they ain't the full game. I'm like, fam, give us the full fucking game, and then if you give us a full game with the full story, and you want to add extra DLC, I don't mind. And that's why I said fuck Destiny when that game came out. My friends fucking brought this shit with PS4. I was like, fuck that game. I'm not buying that stupid shit. Fuck that shit.
I ran the original for PS3. I think my school had back in the day. Actually, a put on school in the south that I was from had well, I'm not from there, but I lived there for like 10 years, and they actually had where you could get games for a month for free, and that was really cool that they had that at the little community college they had there. And so I rented Destiny, and I was not impressed by that shit. I was playing that shit for free, and I was like, this is just basically a Halo. Weird multiplayer version of Halo, you know what I'm saying? Massively multiplayer Halo shit.
When Destiny made by the same developer that did Halo?
Yeah, they did Halo. I mean, yeah, they made it. It's made by the people that made Halo. I'm saying like it's not even as good as Halo.
That shit was terrible, man. That shit was ass, man. I'm sorry, man. I can't, and that's what I'm saying. I only have like 5 games for my PS4: Batman Arkham Knight, like 2 Maddens, whatever. Like that's why I stick to sports games, man. Because it was sports games, you know, at least you're getting yourself into. Well, I played that game for my PS4, and even though graphically it looked good, I'm like, these game developers, they decided to do a second home front, man. I'm like, fam. Like, give me a fucking ammo crate. I kept fucking dying. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And the guns, like the guns recoil, like the aim mechanics. That shit is all over the place. Like, fam, I'm playing cause like I ain't one of them fucking I ain't one of those assholes like everything I video games. Like they gotta play on the hardest difficulty to prove to everybody, oh yeah, you want a challenge. I want to play a game, beat it. I ain't trying to stream, I ain't trying to rage. I put this shit on the easiest thing. I kept fucking dying. I'm like, god damn, this fucking aim mechanic fucking suck on this goddamn game. What the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. That sounds like an ass game.
It's one thing though if you can play it or try to go through it on hard. It's another thing when you can't even get the character to do shit. You know, I mean, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know
the
what you mean.
setting you die, man. That's crazy.
It's got to be fair. It's got to be fair.
Yeah, it's like that shit terrible, fam. Like that shit is 100%. That shit is 100% literally terrible.
IGN is totally like buy and pay for because they'll give like a shitty game, like they'll give Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. They'll give that shit 10 out of 10 stars, and then some underrated game they'll give it shit. You know, they'll give like a game like it's a good game example. Mate, BioShock. I mean, I like the BioShock series. Like they'll give that. A BioShock game lower than Call of Duty when Call of Duty is just the same old game they've been making for 10 years.
Well, that fucking dumb game that Gone Home. That that sumbitch won Game of the Year that year.
What the fuck?
Wow.
At least Kotaku, Rock Paper Shotgun, all that shit. I mean, they were just praising this game and well, it must be good. It won Game of the Year and this and that. And I'm just sitting there rolling my eyes, going, "We know what happened with Depression Quest, right?" No, Zoe Quinn, that bullshit.
Oh yeah, I heard it.
The Five Guys, yeah. They pretty much bolstered that game up way, way beyond. If you go on Steam and look at it now, for the overall ratings, it's overwhelmingly positive, but the recent ratings are mixed, and I think they've been going back in there and erasing a lot of the negative comments.
What up, MA?
What's up, man?
What up, man? It's been a while since me and you did it, since you joined the stream.
Yeah. How you been, man?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. I'm out with.
What's up, man?
What's up, y'all?
I said you ain't doxing yourself today, MA. You ain't got the camera on.
It's already out there now. I'm not at home, so I'm doing this, that, and the third. So.
So how raising your parents going?
They're all right, man. My mom's on oxygen. They keep fucking up the machine, so that's been a big ass deal, shit like that. So
I know. I can tell. I can tell. Man, on it. Sound depressed, man.
no, I'm all right. I'm just kind of distracted.
Worried about you, man. Worried about you.
Don't worry about me. I'll be all right.
I saw your stream. I saw one of your streams where you had your little hoodie on.
Yep, that's my little that's my broke monk style right there. I'm too broke to afford robes, so.
That was funny. But I was
probably own like 20 hoodies, to be honest with you. So.
Hey, you know, ain't nothing wrong with hoodies, man. Ain't nothing wrong with hoodies. Man, you don't piss me off yesterday. You know broke my heart yesterday, dude. When fucking Prodigy died, dude, from fucking Mobb Deep. That shit broke my heart, dude. I
saw that. I was like, what the fuck? And then now, so I don't know if you're aware, but he used to do a lot of interviews and shit, and he was exposing like, celebrities and a little bit of the Hollywood fuckery. And then now he dies, so a lot of cats think that it wasn't just complications from sickle cell anemia, that he might have been killed, you know. So
I think it was the Illuminati probably killed him.
Yeah, probably was.
There's a lot of stuff. That's why they say, all this stuff happened. DMX was good, and then all of a sudden he got into a lot of trouble. It was like he was trying to expose all that shit. And
All right.
I was watching. Matter of fact, speaking of DMX, I was watching like an old video of DMX. Like I was watching a video like he was trying to reunite with his son, and that the black chick that for Fix My Life on Oprah Winfrey Network on Oprah Network and it was in the studio, and the son. I can kind of tell the son it was gonna be some bullshit when the fucking son was wearing the pants. He was all wearing feminine. He was all feminine and shit, pants and shit. And what fucking pissed me off that whole interview was like the whole idea of like DMX. He's trying to be in the son's life, and the son being a bitch about the shit. Like, man, you was cheating on my mom when you kissed the other girl. It was fine when we was in the studio. I'm like, fam, I know DMX ain't perfect. Look, your dad was on drugs and shit, fam. I'm like, dude, your fucking dad is fucking DMX. You know, people will fucking kill to fucking be in your position right now. I'm like, yeah. He may not be, he may not be hot as he was when he first came out, but your dad's DMX. He's trying to be in your life. Stop being a bitch the whole goddamn time. And it was like, you always hostile. You're this, you're that. And it's like, fam, I'm like, you being petty as fuck right now watching that video. And watching that video should sting me the fuck. I'm like, dude, this dude being a bitch right now. I'm like, dude. And I'm like, he's sitting there crying and shit. I'm like, dude, like, your fucking father want to be in your fucking life right now. You know how many motherfucking MGTOWs or how many men right now want to have fucking fathers in their life right now? But you doing some petty shit like, oh, he kissed women in front of me when I was 5 years old. Nigga, you a grown ass man. Move on, let that petty shit go. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? I was watching that video like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I have to say, I found my father. I just don't know what to say to him. I probably should just go see him and go, hang out with him, but I just don't know what to say to him, really. I don't really blame him for anything at all. I mean, I know how my mom is.
Yeah, see, like with your situation, I can fully understand all that. Because, like, if a person never been in your life for so many years and they come up, right, I can kind of understand how awkward it would be.
I don't even remember him, to be honest.
Like for real, like, but God told me right now, like, God literally came to me and said, you know what, no filter, man, this is what I'm going to do for you. You got one day, your dad come from heaven above, and you get to talk to him, touch him physically, whatever. But the first thing I'm gonna be doing, bro, I'm gonna be like dead ass for me, and I don't cry as much. I'm gonna be crying like fucking say, Dad, I fucking miss you, dude. I'll be hugging them, telling them, like, having a conversation with them, like, yo, I'm a grown ass man now, like asking about life conversations. How did he feel when he was 28 years old? Like, I'll be having so many conversations with my dad before God says it's time to go. Like, fam, I'll use that whole day telling him how much I miss him and like how his death really impacted me negative in a positive way. Like, fam, and that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, I don't understand guys. Like, I really don't understand people who just like dudes who like, especially black dudes who go out their way talking about fuck my dad. My dad was a pile of shit, bro. There's two sides to a fucking story. Stop letting your mom tell you this bullshit. 9 times out of 10, your mom was on bullshit and she was a hoe. so she couldn't pick the right dude to save her life. And now she would fucking take the egg out on you, and like all she ended up doing, like, dude, like give your fucking dude a check. I have a fucking friend of mine recently. The dad was a fucking he was a crack. His dad was, I'm not gonna say much. I'm just gonna say his dad did crack. He was hooked on cocaine. He did heroin. He did a lot of heroin. Father's fucking been clean for 30 fucking years. Dad was hooked on that shit. My friend told me flat out, dude was 28 years old, same age as I was. He's like, fuck that nigga. He like, fuck that nigga, cuz now dad was a piece of shit. I'm like, dude, Anthony, you just told me about your dad. Your dad was hooked on heroin, bro. I'm like, your dad's 30 years clean. He's a clean man. Turn his life around. Let that petty shit go, bro, and do what you need to do. You a grown ass man. Don't fuck that nigga because he was never in my life. I'm like, dude, you being a bitch right now, dude. Let him in your fucking life. Like, dude, like, you ain't gotta let him in. I understand. Look, your father was never around, true, but he was a drug addict, dog. Look, like, he's clean. Let him turn his life around. Give him a chance to do what he needs to do. No, fuck that nigga, cuz my mama raised me. I'm like, dude, it's two sides to a story here. Hear him out, listen to him a little bit, give him a chance. And if you don't like the story he give you, you ain't gotta let him in your life, but dude, you're 28 years old, man. Let that petty shit go. I'm like, dude, I would hate to be that person if my father, say if my father was never in my life, my father at 28 years coming to my life. You know what? I'm not gonna be like, fuck that nigga, cuz. Nah, man. I'm gonna be a little hesitant to trust the dude. But like, you know what? I'm gonna hear him out. And if I like the story he give me, I'm gonna let him in my life. It's like, dude. And this, I'm like, this guy don't have no kids. He's talking about having kids. I said, you do understand all that fucking hate, all that hate you have towards your fucking father is gonna affect you as a damn parent. What the fuck do you mean, dude? I know that feeling to carry fucking anger, be mad at it, be mad at the damn world. Dude, listen to your fucking father. Guess what happened? Because even your father was not sitting this and there. Like, let's hear him out. Motherfucking, at least give a motherfucker a chance. God damn, what the fuck?
So I was able to talk to my dad. Somebody's echoing.
Oh, go ahead.
I was able to talk to my dad and everything. I got the side of the story, and I've talked with him a good little while, but it's just driving out there to meet him in person. That's where I'm kind of like, what would I really say or do? I mean, I hear he likes to go fishing a lot. I'm not a big nut over fishing, but I like to go fishing too and different things. I just maybe I think it's more of the fact that I'm kind of a little bit more out there than most people with my interests and, you know, how I walk, talk, and dress. And maybe he wouldn't accept me, or I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure he would. You know, it's supposed to be my father, but
I think since you're in a position where it's like you don't know what to do. I think fishing would be a good way because it's like you ain't catching shit really. So I mean fishing. Yeah. You ain't really catching nothing. And I think to me, if I'm not in your position, I'm not telling you what to do here. But I think fishing would be a good way if he loves to fish. I think that you can really get the story of like why he was never around or whatever, and the kind of. Yeah, I think that would be a good way because I see so many dudes like, you know, because like I have a lot of black dudes that did not grow up with their fucking father and they hate their fathers, man. And I ask somebody, so if your father came on your life, right, whether it was a drug addict, with jail, whatever the fuck it's supposed to be. So you mean tell me right now, your father had the chance to come into your life right now, and they was a drug addict and they just happened to come clean, they turn their life around, they working and everything. You mean tell you would never let them in? No, fuck that nigga, cuz fuck him. Like I'm like, dude, like, you know, you gotta stop being emotional bullshit, dude. I told him, I said, dude, I grew up with my mom. My mom's a single mother. She's not a single mother by choice. My dad died of cancer, so I can kind of, y'all guys, whatever. I'm like,
well, I ain't a single mom though, man. I understand she's a single mom. I always find it as like a chick that couldn't pick the right dude and just like was a hook bag or some shit and like didn't even get married. If your mom was married, she's just a widow, you know. Yeah. That's probably the only exception I would ever give to any woman is being widowed like that.
Yeah, and it was like what I was trying to tell him.
Mom,
I was like, dude, my dad died, my mom was a single parent, not by fucking choice. She didn't choose to become fucking single. She was with my dad up and died of cancer. You can't predict that type of shit. And I was like, dude, like, I never hated my dad. Me and my dad had our arguments. I'm not gonna sit here and say my dad was the greatest person in the world because we had our arguments as father and son. He was hard on me, and I understood why he was doing it because he was trying to prepare me for the world. So I didn't hate him for it. But like even there's points with the last conversation we had as father and son, I was telling him, I was like, you know, I was trying to tell him, I was like, dude, I would kill to have my dad around. And like one of my male friends, when I just told about like his dad is in his life, I said, dude, hear him out, man. Like give the dude a chance or some shit. Like, god damn, dude, you ain't gotta look, you can hate the dude all you want to do. Don't die. I always talk about the worst thing, and I say this for mid-towers too, man. This mid-towers related, this can mid-tower related, but still, like, don't die a miserable person, man. Don't die a miserable, lonely asshole who just for some reason so caught up in their fucking feelings. It's like, dude, let that shit go and move on with the shit. Start a new life, but you move on with the shit. God damn. I mean, but
True,
maybe that's me. Maybe that's me because I'm getting older. I'm maturing a little. I'm maturing, and I'm moving past that petty shit. Like, cause like the shit I did in my past, bro. Like, I mean, I'm harping on it, but I'm not harping on it as much. Like, oh yeah, I did the shit like that. I did the shit. It happened, man. I can't fucking change that shit. Like, whatever. Like, you know, whatever, man. It's one of those things. But just learn to let certain shit go, man. Just learn to let certain shit go.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So it was like, I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's me. Hold on. How long we been doing this stream on Armchair?
We've been on for about. Let me see.
A little over 2.5.
2.5.
You started at 12, right?
Yeah, I started at 12.
Yeah, it's 20 to
3
30
3 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bounce myself because I got to go to work tonight. I stayed up with it.